person at 901 East 8th Street in Little Rock.
The after-season clothing sale continues at Fort Thompson. Tons of clothing marked down to 50% off. Also, check out the new spring hunting and clothing items arriving daily. See you at Fort Thompson's in Sherwood.
This is Mark Miller for Parker Cadillac in Little Rock. We're going all in with vehicles for every budget. Need a truck? We've got light duty and heavy duty ready to work. Looking for an SUV? We've got the nicest inventory of full-size SUVs you're going to find anywhere. Tahoes, Yukons, Navigators, Escalades, and much more. For quality, selection, and first-class service, shop Parker Cadillac today. Visit us online at parkerspecials.com or give us a call, 501-224-2400.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-511-3535, 800-511-3535, or biglou.com.
Crawfish season is here at Eat My Catfish. And we've got crawfish at all locations. Get your boil fix today with any of our boiling buckets of crawfish, crab legs, and shrimp. Come see us or order online at EatMyCatfish.com.
Around here, reputation matters. That's why homeowners and business owners turn to the professionals at CertaPro Painters for their painting projects. From detailed residential painting to professionally managed commercial projects, our crews deliver craftsmanship that protects your investment and enhances curb appeal. Spring weather won't last forever, and neither will the open slots on the schedule. If painting is on your list this year, now's the time. Call CertaPro Painters or visit CertaPro.com and reserve your spring project today. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-921-8189. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-921-8189, 800-921-8189, 800-921-8189.
When you do something for over 50 years, you get really good at it. Like Bert here. He's been lifting weights for over 50 years. He can bench press a 400-pound nose guard, deadlift an elephant, even clean and jerk a truck filled with watermelons. Fantastic rep, Bert. We're a lot like Bert lifting weights, except we do it with insurance. Williamson Insurance with Auto Owners Insurance, protecting your business and your family for over 50 years.
Live from the Eat My Catfish studios, it's time for Arkansas's #1 caller-driven sports show. It's Drive Time Sports on the Buzz Radio Network with your hosts, Randy Rainwater and Rick Schaeffer. Lock it in and get ready to dial us up. Drive Time Sports is on the air.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Drive Time Sports here on the Buzz Radio Network. Rick Schaeffer standing by in Northwest Arkansas. I'm Randy, I'm Randy Rainwater from the capital city. Got choked up just thinking about Rick Schaeffer, Northwest Arkansas. Good afternoon, Mr. Rick Schaeffer.
No, you were choked up being so excited to be Randy Rainwater, and that's okay. You should be excited to be Randy Rainwater, and that's okay. That's good. Okay, so you were at the game last night. Now, I haven't looked. Who won? Little Rock or Arkansas State?
Arkansas State won 12-0, but in the
12-0.
Yes,
wow.
In the process, there was a no that was thrown.
No kidding.
By Kyler Tingler. Yes.
He pitched the whole game?
Pitched the whole game.
Wow, congratulations. Somebody left the pitcher in for a no-hitter.
Well, Coach De Silva said, as I watched the game progress, I was going to let him go 2, 3, 4 innings, whatever it was. He was rolling right along. In fact, I don't even think there was many, even for that matter, full count that went on any of the Little Rock batters. So he said, okay, we'll leave him out there. And lo and behold, he throws a
How about
no-no.
that?
Yeah.
Now, Randy, that was the first Arkansas State no-hitter since guess what year?
1921.
No. Ricky,
I'll
got a guess or no?
Okay, I'll
It's
just
like
guess.
2015.
I'll guess
something like that.
1992.
2005.
Okay.
2005. Well, that's
I think
recent.
there was a 5 at the end of it. Fowler. I think Fowler was the last one that threw
I believe so, too, yes.
a no-hitter. Yeah, for
Wow.
Arkansas State. So
Even
yeah,
somebody as young as Tripp would remember 2005. Well, although you were pretty young then, weren't you?
I don't know. He was in diapers at that point. So
Were you really?
No, a little after that. But
That's what I thought. Okay, that's good. Good for you. Well, speaking of not a no-hitter, but a shutout, Peyton Burnham tossed a shutout today for Arkansas
yes.
softball. Beat Mississippi State 3-0. Gave up a 3-hitter. So
had a couple of home runs in that game for Arkansas. They had advanced now to tomorrow's game against Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama.
Isn't that something that Arkansas is ranked number 5 in the nation, and they're the number 7 seed in the SEC tournament? That's got to be highly unusual.
I think that tells you the strength of the league.
Yeah, that's right. So Alabama's seeded 2nd, and they're number 3 in the country. In fact, I was looking at the top 10 and I think either 6 or 7 of them are SEC schools. Oklahoma and Texas.
I think 11 of the 15 are ranked.
Wow.
11 of the 15 are ranked.
Wow. Who doesn't have it? Does Vanderbilt not have softball?
Vanderbilt does not have softball. No.
Okay. Does Vanderbilt fall under because they're a private school, do they fall under the you have to have 16 or 14 sports to be in the SEC? Do they have 14 sports, I wonder?
Well, maybe they have other sports for ladies that fills in for the lack of softball.
Yeah, they didn't have volleyball until a year or two ago. So
Vanderbilt? Really?
Yeah.
Gosh, listen to Tripp.
See?
Golly, he's on top of it.
Good for you.
I ain't going to keep it up, though.
I
only know so much, right?
You're setting a precedent right now.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tripp is too young to remember this. How many people in our listening audience are Atlanta Braves fans because of TBS?
Ted Turner.
Yeah, Ted Turner passed
Billionaire
away today.
Yep.
And, kids growing up either watched the Braves on TBS or the Cubs on WGN.
Or the Rangers. I can't remember.
No.
I'm talking about in Central Arkansas.
Yeah, in Central Arkansas, but I'm talking about nationally. I'm talking about nationally. Ted Turner was the first to do this. He bought the Braves, and he put them on TBS. Now, the Cubs had been on WGN for years. I had grandparents that lived in the Chicago area, and when I visited them in the summer, you could watch the Cubs on WGN, but they were just a local station. They weren't a national station. Once all these, cable things started coming out, TBS was first, and so the Braves were the first one to hit it. And I was reading today that when Turner bought the Braves, they were awful, and they were still awful for a while, but then they got really good in the 90s. He sold the team in 96 after they won the World Series in 95. But he was the first, and then WGN went national. So I don't know. Again, I'm sure there are a lot in our listening audience that are Braves fans. My brother grew up watching WGN, so he's a big Cub fan. And isn't it interesting that you can go anywhere in America And you'll find Braves fans and Cub fans because they grew up watching either TBS or WGN. Neither of which are doing that anymore.
No, but I'm saying in Central Arkansas, maybe it was just a regional broadcast, but nevertheless.
Yeah. Well,
when I first got cable, and we were able to pick up, you mentioned the Cubs, the Braves, and the Rangers.
You got the Rangers. See,
the Rangers.
We didn't get that where I was. Even up here. Well, but growing up in even Oklahoma, the Cardinals were humongous everywhere, including Central Arkansas. And, of course, the Travelers were the Cardinals affiliate for a while. But the Cardinals had this strong radio network before TV was really big into sports. And so they had 120 stations on their network. KMOX in St. Louis could be heard just about anywhere in the continental United States. And that's why so many people grew up Cardinal fans, because radio was a bigger deal back then. That's why TBS breaking through with TV baseball was such a huge deal.
It was. That's where we introduced to Bob Horner.
Yeah.
Dale Murphy.
Yes. And then all those great pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
But Skip Carey was so good, and his humor was so subtle that it just was. He was just great to listen to. And then the Cubs had Harry Carey. Now, they didn't at first. A guy named Jack Brickhouse did the Cubs for years. But then Harry Carey, after he got fired by the Cardinals, he did the Oakland A's for a year, and then he did the White Sox for a year or two, and then the Cubs hired him. And, he became even more legendary because with the Cardinals, he was on TV some locally, but never nationally. But then he became a national celebrity doing Cub baseball on WGN.
With a beer in one hand and a microphone in the other.
I'm a Cub fan and a Bud man. That was his. That's what his deal was. Yeah, that's it. Harry Carey.
Now, who was his first sidekick on WGN? Was it Steve? It wasn't Steve Stone at that time.
I don't know that Steve Stone was his first one, but Steve Stone was with him for years, and I think doesn't he still do their games with the White Sox games?
Yeah.
Okay, so. And Steve Stone, as Harry got later in life and couldn't see as well and mumbled at times, Steve Stone was so good for him. He never embarrassed Harry. He would cover for him. If Harry made a stupid mistake, Steve would gently give the correct thing that happened without ever embarrassing Harry. And, in fact, Steve Stone wrote a book called Where's Harry? After Harry died. Yeah.
The funny thing about those broadcasts, the longer the game went on, Harry slipped a little bit.
Well, he might be drinking Bud,
I'll say that nicely.
Yeah.
The longer the game went on, he slipped a little bit.
Well, he did drink during the game.
Oh, yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did.
As did Mike Shannon of the Cardinals. Once Mike Shannon became the Cardinal guy, it was kind of the same thing. Jack Buck might have a beer or two, but Mike Shannon would have a lot. I remember listening to a couple extra inning games where Mike was, I'm not sure he knew what was happening on the field. He was trying to talk about it, but I'm not sure he knew exactly.
Now, the pitching performance today, just for what it's worth, Peyton Burnham was the winning pitcher today. For Arkansas, advanced to 42-10, and they will take on, I figured this one out, Rick, second seeded in number 3 Alabama awaits. So they're second seeded, but they're number 3 in the country. Yeah. So figure all this out, but it's how you finish in the league. That's just pure and simple. But 3-0. Peyton only allowed 3 hits on the day. One of those came in the 9th inning, made it 7th inning, made it a little exciting. Get the leadoff batter on for Mississippi State, but didn't come around to score, obviously. 3-0, final score. Arkansas moves on now to tomorrow to take on Alabama at 1 o'clock. That is Central Time, 1 o'clock Central Time. The tournament is being played, the Southeastern Conference softball tournament is being played in Lexington, Kentucky. So I thought Lexington was Eastern Time.
I thought
No,
it
they're
was
Central
too.
Time.
Really, Lexington? Yeah. I thought it was Eastern Time.
Lexington is
when Arkansas played Kentucky in basketball. When Arkansas played Kentucky in basketball, Lexington was on Eastern Time, but Louisville is on Central Time, and they're only about an hour apart. So maybe Lexington went to Central Time. I don't know, but I can remember when I'd made the trips, they were on Eastern Time. May not be the case anymore.
Well, double checking. Yeah, okay.
Either way,
Kentucky is split between two time zone, Eastern and Central. Lexington is in the Eastern time zone. So
that's what I thought.
Correction there. I apologize.
Hey, listen. And a trip is, you're replacing Dr. Google, but I'll bet you Googled that. Right?
Yeah, I did.
There you go.
I don't have my PhD yet. I'm only halfway through it.
Dr. Tripp now. Dr. Tripp. Okay. This footnote, for what it's worth, from our Middleton Heat and Air. Hey, Rick, White Sox played on WGN as well.
They didn't show them as much.
No, they didn't show them as much. You're right
no,
about that.
they weren't on daily like the Cubs, but the Cubs had this big advantage, and they played so many day games before they had lights. So just about every day, there's 81 day games on WGN, and pretty amazing to consider that. And, they had guys like Ernie Banks and Billy Williams. They had some stars. And then I don't know if WGN was doing this yet, but 69 and 70 and 71, they were actually really good. They didn't win to get to the World Series, but they were really good. So that's another reason why, young people might have been influenced by watching them.
I truly believe this. That's how, at that time, that's how my daughter, Ashley, became a Cubs fan, though. She is a devout Cubs fan, and I blame it totally on cable, because if we had not, you couldn't get, obviously, the Yankees back then. That was way too early for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I love it now on Fubo. I've been telling you on Fubo, Rick.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You're getting it, huh? You're getting the Yankees on Fubo.
I'm getting the Yankees on Fubo. I watched last night.
How do you get that?
Rangers.
Just by regular Fubo?
Well, what they're doing.
Or do you pay extra?
No, what they're doing is they're showing, in this case, it was the Rangers broadcast I watched last night.
All right.
The Rangers regional broadcast. Okay. So I watched it again. I'll watch it again tonight. Well, the game starts at 6. I'll get to watch part of it.
But you're watching the Rangers, and they're playing the Yankees. No,
that's right.
You can't watch all the Yankee games, can you?
I watched the Yankees and the Orioles. Oh, was that wonderful? 4-game sweep. I haven't said anything about that.
I said it yesterday. I said you got Yankees are creaming the Orioles. I guess it was Monday, and that was before they even had the fourth one.
I did not
respond.
I did not respond. I remained humble because
I
know how fortune can change so quickly.
Look, the Yankees are really good right now. The Orioles aren't very good right now. That's part of baseball, and the Yankees just crushed them. I think it was 39-10 was the run differential in the 4 games.
All I can say is it's been wonderful. That's all I can say. I am enjoying every moment of it.
Good for you.
And I didn't send you one text. I didn't send you anything.
You don't do stuff like that.
No, I don't.
You never do.
No.
I don't do that back to you either.
No, you're right.
Enjoy when your team wins. Enjoy it. You don't have to.
Exactly, because your fortunes can change.
That's right.
I was listening to one of the interviews. It was the young lady who actually scored Arkansas's first run today. The first baseman, I've gone blank, for Arkansas. Anyway, she had a solo shot, and she was part of the interview with the SEC now, I guess that's what they call it, or whatever it is, post-game. And she simply said, you're going to fail 7 out of 10 times. So you've got to keep a positive attitude. You've got to just stay the course, because things can change so quickly. And that is so true. This from our Middleton Heat and Air says, I'm a 24-year-old Braves fan because my dad was a Braves fan.
Okay.
I sure didn't rub off on my kids, apparently. Never really cared to ask why. And I think Rick may have just gave me the answer.
That's it. That's exactly right. Dad was a Cub fan or a Brave fan, and parents or grandparents who have long-term loyalties definitely impact their kids. No doubt about it.
Well, I've said this.
Yeah. Not always, but in a lot of
this.
cases.
I've said this over and over again for those that torment me on why I am a Yankee fan.
Because they won all the time.
Well, no, it was
That's
because
exactly why you're a Yankee
it was
fan.
because of one player.
Mickey
I've
Mantle,
said that over and
but
over
the Yankees
again.
won all the
They
time
may have
because
been
of Mickey
winning.
Mantle.
All I cared about was how good Mickey did. Well, eventually I became a Yankee fan in totality, but at that time it was all about Mickey Mantle. I told you I kept.
Why didn't you pick
own.
Ernie Banks? Why didn't you pick Willie Mays? See, those guys they were great too, but their teams didn't win as much. But Mickey Mantle's team won all the time.
Mickey Mantle.
Why'd you pick the Green Bay Packers? Because of Bart Starr? No, because they won all the time. Why'd you pick the Boston Celtics? Because of Bill Russell? No, because they won all the time. And that's okay. When you're young and impressionable, that's what gets you. That's why I started liking the Orioles. Because I didn't like the Yankees, and I wanted somebody in the American League to beat them. And in '64, they almost did. And in '66, they won.
I really didn't want to finish what I'm saying. I really wanted you to interrupt me while I was
well, then I'm glad I could comply.
Trying to explain. Golly.
I'm glad I
Never
could
mind
make your
anybody else out there. To heck with it.
I'm glad. I
I'm
wanted
a
to make your
Boston
wishes
fan in
come
basketball,
true.
pro basketball. I'm a Packer fan. Who cares why? And I am
'Cause
a
they
Yankee
win.
fan. Who cares why?
Because they won. That's why. It's okay. It's okay.
I had no idea you were a Packers fan, Randy. I didn't.
Absolutely.
I didn't know.
Because growing up, they won all the time. Celtics won all the time.
Yeah.
Why else? Randy.
But
why
Rick
else?
never
Why
talks
else?
about. Rick never talks about all those years where all those teams had their downtimes when CBS bought the New York Yankees. You talking about going down the tubes?
They did for a few
years.
years.
But I stayed with them.
Yeah,
I stayed with them, and they didn't have Mickey Mantle at that time.
That's why. That's okay.
Okay,
I'm still an Oriole fan, and your team just swept us. It's okay.
Let's talk to Brian. Brian, good afternoon.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Oh, what's up, Brian?
Hey, got a question. Who
Is
won
it
girls
Texas
softball
related?
today?
Is it Texas related?
Well, first I'm asking us who won the girls softball.
Arkansas beat Mississippi State.
Texas beat Arkansas 90-0.
No. What are you doing, Randy?
Yeah.
Well, I'm making Brian happy. All he cares about is Texas. Then he's going to find something to run Arkansas down about. So I just thought I'd go ahead and get that out of the way.
I was asking how the Lady Hogs win because, they're not used to that.
You don't really care. I know you really
don't
care.
Ryan,
they haven't won anything in 5 years.
They just beat Texas 2 out of 3. What do you mean they don't know how to win?
Don't mention that to Brian. Don't mention that. That was an aberration. That was a miracle on
Let me
Markham.
ask you this. How many national titles have they won?
I don't care. You're done. Okay.
Golly, Randy.
That was pure hatred from Double R.
I
sit here and we listen to him. He finds something every day to make sure that he talks about Texas, and he makes sure he finds something to run Arkansas down about. I mean, if he wants to run down Texas A&M, I might hang up on because of that. It's not all about Texas on this show, Brian. Thank you.
That's pretty funny. You knew it was coming more than I did, and here you just kind of said I didn't give you a chance to talk, and then poor Brian, he couldn't get any words out of his mouth.
Sometimes he calls in as Brian from Ozark, and other times Brian from Clarksville.
Oh, okay.
I think he did the Brian from Clarksville just to try to throw me off. Oh, no, I remember all your aliases.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Aren't you glad you're now the producer of this show?
Oh, I am thrilled.
That was pretty amazing, Randy. You don't usually, there's only a couple you've ever done that to, and one of them, you even let Tiger Bait talk more than you let that guy talk.
Well, it depends on what he was saying.
Now, you don't realize this, Rick, but in the studio, Randy is looking directly at a whiteboard that is completely empty except a little sketch that somebody drew of the horn symbol pointed down. And that's been there for years since I started working here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it on the board.
Yeah, right there in front of you.
Right there. Well, I don't pay attention to that, but I do now. That's a great sign on the board.
That's been there for a couple of years now, yeah.
And you haven't noticed it?
Well, usually there's other writing on
In
the
2
board.
years?
Yeah.
Everything else is clean on the board except for
Everything else on that board gets replaced except for that one little hand sketch.
Yeah.
The horns down.
Yeah. So for any other, well, hopefully there's no other Texas calls that we'll get.
So anybody that calls with horns up, you let them get them off the phone.
Well, it depends on what they're saying. If you want to run down Arkansas, call a Texas station. Call an Austin station. Surely you can get that streaming somewhere. You can enjoy every minute of it. All right, we got to step away for a moment. Coming up next, Kevin Bohannon, as we'll go around the horn.
Get your tickets now for the 22nd annual Double B's BuzzBQ coming May 9th to the downtown Riverside RV Park in North Little Rock. Go to buzzbq.com for more.
Take it from Arkansas greats Joe Klein and Pat Bradley.
The big national sports apps are now in Arkansas, taking over Oaklawn and Bentley, which are no longer local.
Making Bet Saracen the only real local app.
Still Arkansans fan fave.
Plus, Bet Saracen is still the official sports betting app of many of the state's colleges and universities.
Bet Saracen, built by Arkansans for Arkansans.
Bet with Arkansans. Bet with Bet Saracen.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET.
When the unthinkable happens to your home or business, whether it's damage from smoke, water, fire, or mold, let Rainbow Restoration make you whole again. Their extensively trained team, state-of-the-art equipment, and 24/7 rapid response will help get your life back on track fast. Because this isn't just their service area, it's their home. When you need them, find them at ArkansasRestorationExperts.com. Rainbow Restoration, where they restore, you recover. Services performed by an independently owned and operated franchise.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 501-600-2763. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 501-600-2763. That's 501-600-2763.
River Valley Tractor is here to help you turn your dream projects into reality. You love your land, and you have plans for it. During Kubota Orange Days, you'll love the great deals on their versatile, reliable lineup. Stop in today for the best deals of the year. Now through June 30th, 0% financing available or save up to $5,500 on select compact tractors. Sale ends soon. Go to rivervalleytractor.com for more information.
Chevy trucks have you covered when the road takes you from smooth sailing to Chevy Colorado will eat up some of the toughest terrains with 5 available drive modes. And Silverado and Silverado HD have the muscle to take you out for some serious with multiple engine options and impressive towing. While Silverado EV is the perfect combo of performance and capability. Nice. Making it a snap to hitch up this electric truck and hit the road. Wherever the road leads, Chevy trucks are right there with you. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Now back to Drive Time Sports in the Eat My Catfish studios, where sports and crawfish meet. You're safe at home with Drive Time Sports on the Buzz Radio Network.
Welcome back to Drive Time Sports on the Buzz Radio Network. Rick Schaeffer. I'm Randy Rainwater. In a moment, we'll be joined by Kevin Bohannon. First, let's talk with my man, Neil Atkinson, by way of Bet Saracen. Arkansas wins. Moving on to the second round of the SEC softball tournament. Actually, I guess that'd be considered the third round now, wouldn't it? Because Arkansas drew a first-round bye. But Arkansas, Alabama, tomorrow in the SEC softball tournament.
Yeah, we'll get that lined up shortly. That game just ended not too long ago. Nice little shutout against Mississippi State. We've got the other games up there. We've got Georgia versus LSU, and then we've got Auburn versus Florida are the two remaining games tonight. And, of course, we'll have all of tomorrow's games up there. NBA playoffs continue. Two big games tonight. You've got Game 2 of 76ers at the Knicks.
And Knicks favored by 40?
Almost. Knicks are favored by 10.5. You got a quarter of the way there. But, yeah, they are favored by 10.5. And, of course, they lead that series 1-0. And then the other game tonight is Timberwolves at the Spurs. Heck, both games are 10.5 tonight. So expecting both home teams to win big tonight. And both of them are game 2s, I believe. Yep, they are. Both of them are game 2.
Yeah, Minnesota got the first one. Wemby had 11 blocks. You have Wemby. What's his over-under on how many blocks he gets tonight?
Now you're going to give me just 1 second to look it up. I'll be able to find it here in just a second. But
I'm sorry I put you on the spot like that.
No. I just have. We have such a huge prop menu.
I know you do.
That we have to go to. So which one? Defensive block. You want to know how many blocks for Wemby? He should come up right here. Over and under 4.5 is Wemby's blocks tonight.
At 11, just keep that in mind. Game 1, 11.
Yep. And if it hits tonight, Randy, I'm going to be mad at you. And if it doesn't hit, I don't know what I'm going to do. But anyway, all the players will be happy.
What else is going on?
Don't forget you got the NHL playoffs. You got that. And, of course, tomorrow we'll get ready for Friday's game, last series against Oklahoma. I'm already looking at that one and seeing what that line's going to be. And I'm sure we'll have all the RR props and specials out on that one. And get ready for the weekend. All of the NBA and NHL series. WNBA starts Friday. Big UFC matchup on Saturday. So got a busy weekend.
Absolutely. Where can we find all this good stuff?
Hey, you go to BetSaracen.com on the web. Or from your phone, you just go to that app store, type in Bet Saracen. Download that app, hit the registration button. Once you do all of that, first thing you want to do is after you make your deposit is go and check out that promo page. We got a SEC softball bet and get, NBA playoffs, 50% no sweat bet, and, of course, our daily NBA and NHL profit boost while the playoffs are going on. And, of course, we're going to have NCAA baseball 50% profit boost there, too. Good luck, everybody, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, Neil. Thank you. Neil Atkinson by way of Bet Saracen. Okay, let's do this.
Hogsports.com's Coach Cabo is back, and we're going round the horn. Here's Kevin Bohannon.
No hitter last night. Arkansas State, Little Rock. Kyler Tingler throws a no-no for Arkansas State.
Yeah, it was CK. I've known him since he was about 11 or 12 years old, coming to Shane Fullerton's baseball cross-training camps. I was just watching him grow up, when he was a 7th-grade quarterback at Searcy, playing high school ball with Reed. And, he went to Little Rock out of high school and just couldn't throw strikes. The command wasn't there. Randy, ASU Mountain Home, worked with him last couple of years, and last night he looked like a video game character. Mm-hmm. I know I make that reference quite a bit, but when you don't get to hardly any 3-ball counts, and you almost throw a perfect game, he looked like Greg Maddox last night. He was dotting up for sure.
And a huge series coming up, and I know we've talked at length about Arkansas and their postseason opportunities, but this series coming up with Oklahoma. Oklahoma had them in both the RPI. I mean, you can go through several different metrics, but Kevin, this may be as big a series to this point that Arkansas has had so far this season. I hope I'm not exaggerating that.
Yeah, if you want to make a statement with the NCAA committee, this is when you do it. Last weekend was good, obviously. Ole Miss, they were ahead of Arkansas in the rankings and RPI. Just, it worked out right for the Razorbacks with what happened with Christian Turner. We talked about that yesterday. Talked about it with Nolan Sousa. Just how the offense is coming together. Oklahoma's good. I love the way, Coach Skip puts his teams together over there. They got a really good one in Cameron Johnson that's the front of their weekend rotation. He's 6-1 with the 2.96 ERA. He was one that came out of high school, and they thought he was going to be, top draft pick. Ended up going to LSU. Didn't work out there, so he's been in Oklahoma the last 2 years. He's draft eligible. The command is better, but he still only has 64 strikeouts and 34 walks in 48 innings. So the walks, innings, hits per innings pitched is up there a little bit. He's given up 67 walks and hits in 48 innings. So that's up there in Gabe Gackel range. We'll see how Arkansas does against him. He's 6'5", he's 6'6", 255.
Good gracious.
Left-handed. Yeah, he's a big.
Needs to be a tight end for somebody.
Yeah, for sure.
After yesterday, Nolan Sousa, we raised the question, this could be your last home series of the year.
Yep.
And he concluded by saying, we're doing everything we can to try and this not be the last home series.
Right.
I thought before the Ole Miss series, Arkansas had to win 7 out of 9 to have any chance to even be seeded 16th.
Right.
Do you think that's still a possibility that Arkansas could still be 15th or 16th? And if so, is that an advantage? Because then if you win, you got to go play number 1 or number 2.
I think it's an advantage for them to be a 2 seed and go to Lawrence, Kansas for the first time. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I'd rather be in that situation. That's a better matchup. If you're looking big picture, looking how the road to get to Omaha, you don't want to go through UCLA. You don't want to go through Georgia Tech.
No.
Texas, yeah, go through Texas. That's fine. That'll get guys ramped up, hyped up real good. Get the fans hyped up real good. But if they get to 18 and 12, I think they're still going to be on the outside looking in. Win a couple of games in the tournament, like I said yesterday. How do you keep a 40-win SEC team from hosting? I just don't see how that could happen. It may, a lot of it will depend on what happens with other teams. ASU winning last night was big. That's a road win, so that's gonna raise their RPI up, and I think they'll get a little boost from that.
All right, let's talk with Steve. He's been holding. Steve, good afternoon. Welcome to Drive Time Sports.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, Steve.
Hey, Randy, I'm glad you took that Texas collar off because we don't want to hear nothing about Texas.
I agree. Totally agree.
And I don't know why Rick was making fun of you for doing that.
I wasn't making fun of him. Well, maybe I was a little bit because he just earlier didn't like me interrupting him, and Randy just slammed him.
Well, Rick, you do it every time he goes to talk about something, and you.
I do. You're right. You're right.
You interrupt him, and he never gets the chance to finish his story.
Steve, you are right. I have no defense. I cannot disagree with you. That is a fault of mine, and I wish I could correct it. Maybe I'll try.
Maybe in time. Maybe as you age.
In the next decade or so. Yeah.
But
okay.
Kevin, I got a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
You remember last week when you said Arkansas has no 2-strike approach at the plate?
They made adjustments. Good teams do that.
And I'm glad they finally are finally doing the adjustments. And another thing that I've noticed that they don't do, like other teams, they don't have a fastball plan at the plate.
Yeah, that's been an argument, and the word that gets thrown around a lot, Steve, is approach. What is your approach? What is your plan? What is your game plan when you get in the box? If it's first pitch fastball and the guy's really good at throwing first pitch fastballs for strikes, are you going to jump on it? Is he going to pitch you backwards? Only Nate Thompson and the team knows what their plan is every game, what their approach is. Sometimes you can see what it is. I mean, it's pretty obvious. If they come out aggressive, like they were on Friday against Hunter Elliott, working in fastball counts, making him jump on it, that's pretty easy to see. Sometimes the plan is not there and they go 0 for 4 and 0 for 3 and 7 strikeouts between your 3 and 4 hitters. And it just happens. But, yeah, I get what you're saying completely. But now, there's people that argue for it and against.
But think about this, though, Steve, for what it's worth.
That's all I got, guys.
All right, Steve. For what it's worth, buddy. That is also, I think, tied into Dave's philosophy, in particular wanting to get starters with their pitch count up. Because he wants to get into the opposing team's bullpen, obviously as quickly as possible. The only way you can do that is take pitches. And sometimes taking those pitches can get you in trouble.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can do it two different ways. They did my way, what I preferred my team to do, or a team to do, on Friday. They knocked Hunter Elliott out the game by hitting the baseball.
Right.
They knocked him out. It didn't matter what his pitch count was. Teams have done it to Arkansas this year. So, there's two different ways to do it. You take and work the count and make him. But if you hit the ball and get runners on base and put the ball in play, guys have to work out of the stretch. They have to work with traffic on the bases. That adds to the mental aspect of the game. So, you talk about you want to be a patient team and you want to hit it, but it's all determinant on what the pitcher does and what the pitcher is going to be able to give you. Now, the guy, Cade Townsend, that threw in game 2, obviously carved Arkansas up. They could not handle the fastball. And if it got to pitcher's count 1-2, 0-2, it was done. It was done, guys, because he's going to throw that cutter, that slider, and he's going to carve them up. He had a good outing. They got to him a little bit, but and then game 3, Arkansas did a really good job of just pecking away and chipping away at the lead. Pitching is what really did it in game 3. Parker Cole, no hits over 3 innings. Even Gabe Gackle had a good start. That was the first series that I can remember that all 3 pitchers went at least 5 innings. That was huge for Arkansas this past weekend. That allowed the bullpen to be fresh come Sunday.
Hang tight, Kevin. We got to step away for a moment. That is Kevin Bohannon as we go around the horn. Rick Schaeffer. I'm Randy Rainwater. Drive Time Sports will continue in just one moment.
Carson Brumbaugh joins the zone each week courtesy of Pinnacle Parties, bounce houses, tents, tables, and everything in between. Take your party to the Pinnacle. Find them online at pinnacleparties.com.
Luxury Pool and Spa in Conway and Russell is your headquarters for pool and spa chemicals. Luxury Pool and Spa is ready to get your pool balanced and swim ready with Pool Life and Baquasil Pool Chemicals. Luxury Pool and Spa is also a proud dealer of Polywood Outdoor Furniture, Climate Tough Materials, Color Stay Technology, and the 20-year warranty. If you're thinking about a hot tub, they have the amazing Caldera hot tubs in stock on their showroom floor. Live the life of luxury with Luxury Pool and Spa. LuxuryPoolArkansas.com.
Injured? Let's talk about getting help now.
Anywhere in the state, dial 8. 888-8888.
Whether injured at night, on a weekend, or a holiday,
dial 8 for Rainwater, Holton, Sexton.
888-8888.
Responsible attorneys Michael Rainwater and Bob Sexton.
Hello, folks. It's Frank Fletcher from the Fletcher Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram store right here in Sherwood. Well, I looked this up, and we've been in business since 1989. That's a long time. Many dealers have come and gone. We believe our pricing policy and our service after the sale have served us well. As you know, folks, we post our sale prices, which we call green tags, right on the windshield. This way, everyone gets the same price, and there's no hoops or no negotiations to jump through to get to the bottom line. I don't like saying so many thousands off. That's very confusing. Off of what? And does that affect my interest rate? So I like to keep things simple. My promise is this: we will not be undersold. We value your time and your decision. Come visit us in Sherwood on Royden Road, or check us out with our green tag pricing on FletcherDeals.com. Thank you.
Arkansas Municipal Equipment in Poen, founded over a decade ago by Daniel and Vanessa Ellison. They lease and sell trucks, trash carts, roll-off dumpsters, and street sweepers. Proud to be Arkansas's only authorized dealer for New Way refuse trucks and Timco street sweepers, your authorized dealer for Galfab roll-off and hook lift trucks. You can get parts and service for all makes and models with technicians traveling the state to take care of you.
AME, it's the service after the sale.
It's Justin Acree for Coffin by Design West. Shop with the local folks and get exactly what you want. You can also shop from the convenience of your own home by going to KaufmanLumber.com. There's an online store with over 800,000 items in inventory that can be delivered straight to your front door. Items in inventory include everything from hardware to housewares, heating and cooling supplies, lawn and garden tools, sporting goods, store and office supplies, and there's a huge range of products in each area available. So go by their store in West Little Rock at 14900 Cantrell Road or do your shopping online at KaufmanLumber.com.
Southern Bank presents Family Feud on 103.7 The Buzz. Tune in to Morning Mayhem Tuesday mornings for your chance to play with Justin Moore, David, and Roger. Family Feud on Morning Mayhem. Visit bankwithsouthern.com to take advantage of their great deposit rates and outstanding loan service.
Welcome back to the Eat My Catfish Studios, where if your hands aren't messy, you're doing crawfish season all wrong. Now, back to the show. The number one sports radio show in Arkansas, Drive Time Sports on the Buzz Radio Network.
Hawks Homes is Arkansas's number one dealer. They have more inventory than anyone in Arkansas. Hawks Homes is celebrating its 40th anniversary this month. In honor of that, Hawks is selling the home at $39,995. Also have other specials going on other models as well. So be sure to take advantage of this fantastic deal. It's only in the month of May. Hawks also offers custom-built manufactured and modular homes. 1 to 5 bedroom homes that can be built to accommodate all your needs. Hawks also builds lake houses, hunting clubs, offices, churches, and classrooms. Check out Hawks Homes in both Conway and Bryant, where you'll find over 65 models to select from, or go online to hawkshomes.net. And everyone knows the Crane team's got them new and pre-owned vehicles, pickup and delivery, vehicles for every lifestyle and budget. The Crane team with 16 locations throughout Arkansas gives you access to new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Kia, Hyundai, and Volkswagen, but also access to over 5,000 pre-owned vehicles. The Crane team makes your dollar go further by letting you buy with zero down. Lenders that love to say yes, and every vehicle is inspected and certified for safety. With the Crane team, you'll get the Crane team clear choice, transparent pricing, and the Crane team commitment, including a love it or leave it exchange policy. Visit us online today at craneteam.com.
Hogsports.com's Coach Cabo is back, and we're going round the horn. Here's Kevin Bohannon.
All right, let's talk to Chuck. Chuck, good afternoon. Welcome to Drive Time Sports.
Good afternoon, Randy, Rick, everybody.
Good afternoon to you.
I want to chirp in on baseball.
Okay.
All right. You know, Van Horn is. We're starting to peak, guys. Things are coming around. We're starting to figure. You know, we had first of the year we had to decide who we were going to put at shortstop. Took a little bit, but they finally settled on him. And then they fixed third base. That was an issue. I think they fixed first base now. And they're working on right field. It's amazing. We're solving problems is what we're doing. We've got a solid little first baseman. He's not 6'4", but he moves his feet beautifully. And he handles defensively a lot better than Robinette, in my opinion. I think we've got to I wish we could combine our right fielders, you know, and put Zach at the plate every time a right fielder comes up and somebody else out there on defense. But we're solving problems one by one. But what I want to talk about is when they put the shift on a left-handed hitter.
Mm-hmm.
We can improve there. We can burn people down the stretch. It's not hard to teach a left-handed hitter to slap it.
No, they've
That'll
got guys
kill
that have
it.
done it. Yeah.
And if you can't do it, if the pitcher's pitching you inside and jamming you like they should with the shift on, then flat out square around and hard bunt the ball.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah.
It's
simple.
so simple.
Yeah.
It really is. If you
No,
can bunt the
I
ball,
agree.
you can burn them.
I agree. And
And
how
I
many
mean
guys?
burn them.
They all think they're going to hit home runs, and if you bunch, you can't hit a home run. That's a major league.
Yeah, but
when they had the shift in the major leagues, you saw it happen time after time. These power left-handed hitters hitting the ball to the guy playing between first and second, and you're thinking if they bunted the ball, nobody could field it. I don't know why they
well,
don't.
I don't mean
throwing
a
them
real
outside.
bunt. I'm talking about a hard bunt. You know, when you got the third baseman playing in the shortstop position,
Yeah, if you bunt it,
and
it
you
goes
lay
past
down a
third
good hard
base.
bunt,
You might get a double.
it could be a double.
Yeah.
It could be a double.
Seen it done.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if they jam you or not. You know, and if they make a mistake and throw the ball 3-4 inches outside, swing at it. Punch it. That's what you want them to throw you when they got the shift on. If they make a mistake and throw that ball 6 inches outside, I'm punching it. I'm just sticking my bat out there. And that's going to be a hit, and they'll quit doing that. That'll defeat the shift.
If they do it enough, yeah.
If they do it, yeah, you got to be
serious,
consistent.
and it's
beating
something
it
you
there.
can practice.
I agree.
You know,
I have
I
no
don't know
idea.
why.
I have no idea why somebody hadn't come up with that, or doesn't enforce it, or doesn't tell their hitters. And then you look at batting averages going down everywhere, and even in the major leagues where you can't shift, the shortstop plays like one step to the third base side of the infield. So anything up the middle hit by a left-handed hitter, he's got it, and the third baseman's still playing way over. So I'm with you.
Sure, and that's a base hit unless you bunt. If you can bunt it hard, it could
Might
be a double.
That's right. Well,
It could
maybe
be a
you and I
double.
could. Would you and I? Maybe we could manage a major league team. You think they'd let us do that?
I don't know. But a couple of weeks ago, I told you about Gackle, that I would put him in the bullpen. He'd be my closer.
Yeah. Well, he was better there for a while, but he's a starter
got it out of
again.
my mouth, and they did it.
Yeah, but now he's a starter
Gackle's
again.
got to get the ball down, though. He's too high. He's too
Among
high.
other things.
Got to get it down around the kneecap.
Developing another pitch
they're
against
making
lefties.
progress. They really are.
Yes, they are.
And I think for once, we might really pull an Ole Miss, and barely, you remember the year they won the Natty. They barely got in the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then they
2022.
got hot. Maybe that's going to, it's possible that could be us.
Well, Kevin's got probably a pretty good plan for that. Rather than playing at home, which Arkansas fans would rather play at home, go be a number 2 seed somewhere where you can win and not have to go play a 1 or a 2 after that, and that's probably gives you a better chance to get to Omaha.
Well, am I right? I think the last 2 times we did not host, that we had to go on the road, we went to Omaha.
Was it 2 times? It may have been, yeah. I know, I can remember one real quick, so.
Yeah,
North Carolina, we won there.
Yeah.
We won Oklahoma State.
That's right. That was
I know
back
we
in
went to the
15.
World Series that year.
Yeah.
In 15, they...
Of course, I think they got the Super Regional at home after they won the
In
regional.
15 they did, yeah, because Missouri State couldn't host.
That's
By
right.
default.
That's right. Yeah. Right. That's
Wasn't that
right.
when Missouri State couldn't host?
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. So, hey, look at the bright side, man. We're getting better. We're getting smarter. And guess what? Aloy is laying off that big right-handed curveball now, and learning to go out there and get it occasionally. Don't let him get hot.
He is hot.
If he starts hitting that curveball, he's going to become a huge pro prospect. Just like
I learn a
his brother.
position.
You know, because he can hit a fastball.
Yep.
If he can figure out that curveball.
Mm-hmm. There are a lot of guys that could say that, though.
Curveball.
Yeah. That's why
They
there are
don't
a lot of
draft
guys.
many DHs.
That's right.
Nope.
I'm just excited. I'm excited. I like our right fielder. You know, we got talent, man. We got some talent. And they're starting to come around. And I just see good things, you know.
All right, Chuck.
Starting to hit the ball better.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Thank
Appreciate you,
guys.
Chuck. All right, let's squeeze this in real quick before we run out of time. High school regionals are about to begin.
Absolutely. 1A through 4A across the state, any corner of the state. Pulaski Academy in Central Arkansas is hosting the 3-4A regional. That's Harding Academy, Morrilton, Malvern, Fountain Lake, Robinson, of course. Brooklyn up in the northeast part of the state. You got Perryville's holding a Central Arkansas regional. That's got Episcopal, Haskell Harmony Grove. Valley Springs is hosting the 2-3A regional. That's got Walnut Ridge, Valley Springs, Rivercrest, Harrisburg. Really good tournament. Columbia Christian's hosting the 4-1A regional. That's got the Taylor Tigers down there. Mount Ida, Bradley, Bearden, and, of course, Mineral Springs. Riverside's hosting the 2-2A regional. Riverside, of course, the defending 2A state champions. Congratulations to Valley View Blazers, 6th straight conference championship. They will go for win number 13 and 14 in conference play today.
All right, K-Bo, we'll talk with you next week. That is Kevin Bohannon as we
Thanks,
go
guys.
around the horn, thanks to the Central Arkansas Super Chevy Dealers. Coming up next, Trey Biddy, hogsports.com, being brought to you by Chris Crane Hyundai in Genesis of Conway.
If you already scheduled your garage door tune-up for just $79, please disregard this message. If you don't have a garage door, you're off the hook. For the rest of you, why would you spend more than just $79? Overhead Door Company of Little Rock will perform their garage door tune-up and safety inspection for just $79 on up to 3 garage doors and openers. Call 501-510-6399 or schedule online, overheaddooroflittlerock.com.
To celebrate their partnership with the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, your Arkansas Chevy dealers are giving away a 2027 Chevy Silverado 1500. For complete rules and to register to win, current Arkansas Game and Fish license holders should visit ChevySweepstakes.com/Arkansas Truck Hunt or see your Arkansas's best Chevy dealer for more details. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents 18 years or older who reside in Arkansas. Contest ends 12/31/26. Void where prohibited.
Arkansas's Best Chevy Dealers presents Kevin Bohannon each week on Drive Time Sports with Randy Rainwater and Rick Schaeffer on 103.7 The Buzz. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
World champion of what?
103.7 The Buzz, your world champions of sports radio.
Don't get me wrong.
KABZ Little Rock. Buzz News with KARK's Gary Burton Jr.
Next month's Juneteenth celebration in Little Rock will bring R&B singers Carrie Hilson and Lloyd to the Natural State. They will headline the 17th annual Juneteenth in the Rock on historic West 9th Street. This year's event is also celebrating homegrown talent with a long lineup of live music. There will also be interactive community activities for the family to enjoy. That's all happening Saturday, June 20th. And an Arkansas fan favorite event is back this weekend. 22nd annual Double B's Buzz-BQ is putting over 50 teams against each other in both Pro Joe and Average Joe divisions. There are several categories they'll cook in to try to earn some money and prizes. The event is this Saturday from 11 to 6 p.m. at the downtown Riverside RV Park in North Little Rock. For the Buzz Radio Network, I'm KARK's Gary Burton Jr. Have a great day.
If you don't already have the Bet Saracen Sports Wager app, download it today from the app stores or go to BetSaracen.com. Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports betting app.
Weather from the Fletcher Weather Center with KARK's Pat Walker.
We still will have rain showers through the day, a 60% chance of light to moderate rainfall. Cool, a touch breezy with a high of 62 degrees. Tonight, down to 50 for the overnight low and a 40% chance of rain, stays cloudy. But tomorrow, it'll be mostly sunny with a high of 70. For the Buzz Radio Network, I'm meteorologist Pat Walker.
Fletcher Dodge wants to buy your car. We'll buy any make or model, and we'll pay you more than anyone else. Please, turn your old car into cash at Fletcher Dodge in Sherwood.
Join the zone each Monday for game balls and jock straps. Brought to you by a Caddy's Touch Landscaping. Find out who made the best, average, and worst headlines in sports and entertainment each Monday. Justin gives you his game balls and jock straps on the zone from 10 till 1. Brought to you by a Caddy's Touch Landscaping. 501-794-2770. Call today and get your landscape updated to a whole new level. And be listening for game balls and jock straps only on 103.7 The Buzz.
Ray Tucker with good news for enthusiasts of Triumph motorcycles. Honda of North Little Rock now carries the legendary classics and cutting-edge rides. We have the Bonneville Bobber, Daytona 600, the TF450X, the Stunning Ever Special Edition, and the Rocket 3 Evel Knievel. You get the idea. Come see us at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
Hey folks, this is Mitch Ward, proudly serving the great state of Arkansas with Red River Auto Group for over 20 years. We started as Arkansas's #1 Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep dealer, but we've also got Ford and Toyota. And I like to think we've got the largest discounts than anybody in the state. But folks, really, if you bring us any reasonable deal right now, we're going to try to put something together. If that means us giving a little too much for your trade or selling ours for just a little too cheap or fighting for the best rate, we're going to make it happen. Check us out at redriverauto.com.
Welcome to Moe's. Everyone knows that coming into Moe's for our Moe Monday special is the best deal in burritos. But what about those other 6 days? Well, let me introduce the new Moe Value Meal. Junior burrito, side of queso, chips, salsa, and a fountain drink for only $9.99. And the best part? It's available all day, every day at Moe's Southwest Grill. Now here's my daughter Andy Kate with a special reminder.
Remember, kids eat free on Sundays. Welcome to Moe's.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I took the gas hose out of my car's tank. Ooh, not smart. And I drove off while still attached to pump number 3.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-296-6868. That's 800-296-6868.
It's another Justin Acree free zone on Thursday. Trey Reed enjoyed himself so much on Wednesday, he'll be back, and he'll be joined by Coach Kevin Kelly in studio. We'll talk to Dr. Lawrence O'Malley at UAMS about all the latest injuries going on across the sports landscape. We'll also talk to Zach Gillum at Oaklawn, get some odds on the NBA playoffs, maybe the NHL, maybe even get a look at Arkansas versus Oklahoma in baseball this weekend. It'll be a full day on Thursday, so listen to The Zone, where sports and entertainment
when the unthinkable happens to your home or business, whether it's damage from smoke, water, fire, or mold, let Rainbow Restoration make you whole again. Their extensively trained team, state-of-the-art equipment, and 24/7 rapid response will help get your life back on track fast. Because this isn't just their service area, it's their home. When you need them, find them at ArkansasRestorationExperts.com. Rainbow Restoration, where they restore, you recover. Services performed by an independently owned and operated franchise.
Experience the unmistakable difference today at D3 Auto Sales in Des Arc. D3 Auto Sales is your home for quality used trucks, SUVs, and cars from all the top brands, specializing in unique custom lifted and leveled used trucks, including four-wheel drives. And this commitment to excellence extends to their full-service 10-bay service department as well. Also looking to trade in or sell your vehicle? D3 Auto always pays top dollar for your pre-owned vehicle. D3AutoSales.com. Mother's Day is May 10th. Time to get shopping. Morning Mayhem will join Dee Dee and the crew at Ava Bella Day Spa Thursday to tell you all about the great gift ideas Ava Bella has to offer. Morning Mayhem Thursday at Ava Bella Day Spa on 103.7 The Buzz.
Live from the Eat My Catfish studios, it's time for Arkansas's #1 caller-driven sports show. It's Drive Time Sports on the Buzz Radio Network with your hosts, Randy Rainwater and Rick Schaeffer. Lock it in and get ready to dial us up. Drive Time Sports is on the air.
Hour number 2 at Drive Time Sports here on the Buzz Radio Network. Rick Schaeffer standing by in Northwest Arkansas. I'm Randy Rainwater from the capital city.
Then now, Trey Biddy is brought to you by Chris Crane Hyundai, Arkansas's #1 Hyundai dealer, and Genesis of Conway, Arkansas's only Genesis dealer. Genesis of Conway, the future of luxury today. Now, here's Trey Biddy.
Rick, I have been looking at hogsports.com. I've been refreshing it almost every 5 or 10 minutes, hoping that I would find something that was like yesterday. When I saw that article.
You mean, could it be any worse?
I was thinking,
oh, no.
Will Trey be able to top the article that he wrote yesterday? Will Arkansas have a better secondary in 2026?
So, Trey, you could come back with a column. Could it get any worse? I wrote that yesterday. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. How about that? How about that for a column?
No, I don't think so is the headline. I'm working on some other stuff similar to that, Randy.
All right.
For other position groups.
Similar to who? It could be worse?
Well, just looking at what they had last year and kind of comparing to what they have this year.
You're not in charge of season ticket sales, are you?
No, I'm not.
I didn't think so.
Well, the conclusion was I felt like they would be better, so that's a good thing.
Okay. Yeah, but how many people just look at the headline and think, oh, I'm not reading that?
Well, that wasn't the headline. That was kind of a joke headline.
Okay.
The headline was, it wasn't could they be any worse. The headline was, will Arkansas have a better secondary in 2026
Oh,
actually,
well,
you could have said,
Randy, you deceived me because I didn't see that. I didn't look. And
no,
you deceived
that is
me.
the headline.
You made it sound like Trey was right about how awful it was and it could be worse, but that was a much more nice headline.
No,
thanks for reading the content.
I
Rick.
started off by
I usually
saying,
do. I haven't in the last couple of days.
I started off yesterday when I said, Trey, will Arkansas have a better secondary in 2026? And Trey took it from there.
That is true. We'll give him that.
Okay.
All right. Very good.
Okay. So I've got another question for Trey. I'm not sure if this one is as exciting. This from our Middleton Heat and Air. Can you ask Trey if he's concerned about Silverfield losing his last 4 games at Memphis? Not a good sign.
No, it's not obviously the way you want to finish out a season. Let's look at the schedule real quick. So, is one of those the bowl game though? I don't know if he can get hit for the bowl game that he didn't coach in.
Could be, yeah, because I think they did lose their bowl game, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost the bowl game. If I can bring it up here. Okay, here it goes. Well, it's a 26 schedule. 25. So last 4 games, yes. One of them was the bowl game. They lost to NC State in the bowl game. They lost to Navy 28-17, East Carolina 31-27, and Tulane 38-32. So, I mean, yeah, it's not the way you want to end. They started off 8-1, which is pretty good, but didn't have a strong finish. I don't know if that makes me concerned beyond anything else right now. I mean, last year in 2024.
But that's Memphis, though, Trey. That's not Arkansas.
Right. In 2024, they went 10-2, and they won their last 4 games. You know.
Well, I'm okay. I understand. Maybe
they won 6 of 7 in 2023. 6 of their last 7.
But I'm just saying, we're talking about the University of Memphis. They're not playing the same schedule Arkansas is. They're not playing an SEC schedule.
Right. I mean, odds are Arkansas is going to lose their last 4 games. You've seen Arkansas's schedule, right?
Yeah. I mean, we've already gone over this schedule more than once, but if you just take the last 4 games of the upcoming season for Arkansas, Auburn, South Carolina, Texas, LSU. Okay, South Carolina, maybe that's going to be a toss-up. Depends on how they're playing
You're at home. You'd like to think that they'd figure that out and win the game.
Yeah.
But LSU at home will be tough. At Texas, of course, for the second year in a row, it'll be tough. They've had some success at Auburn on the road, but it's at Auburn. That's still going to be tough. What you'd like to see them do is take care of business against Vanderbilt, and even though Vanderbilt's, supposedly better, I mean, they had, I guess, their best year ever last year, and we'll see what they do this year. But that Missouri game on Halloween, that's what I want to, like, win some of these games that, you should, like, North Alabama, everybody's expecting Arkansas to win that one. That Utah game is critical. If they can come away with that, with a win there, nobody would expect them to beat Georgia. And then you've got Tulsa after that on September 26th. If they could start off 3-1, that would build some momentum. I mean, that would give them a little juice heading into, at Texas A&M, which, crazy things happen. That's a crazy environment, and they played Texas A&M well last year. Obviously, it's a completely different coaching staff and completely different team, so it doesn't really matter. But I don't think anybody's going to be like, yeah, I like Arkansas's chances there. But if you can get out of that, and you've beaten Utah, North Alabama, Tulsa, and you're 3-2 at that point, Tennessee at home, who knows? At Vanderbilt, Missouri. Who knows? There's
Man, you're getting my hopes up now.
Yes, we do have hope. And
I'm hearing 8 victories.
I'm speaking from a positive outlook.
If they win
on
3, they've already exceeded last year. So, and then anything over that's really good. I mean,
college football is about momentum.
That's right.
So build some momentum early, get the ball rolling, and who knows what happens with some of these other teams. Auburn may flounder early. They may have a struggle that does to them what happened to Arkansas. Tennessee, they're asking right now, are we going to get over the hump right now with Heupel, or are we going to go back the other direction? So things could tilt a certain way with that program. And Vanderbilt probably, he's a 5-star, but probably starting a true freshman at quarterback. So, maybe there's an opportunity that things could open up. Arkansas obviously has to have a good quarterback, and they really need to win that Utah game, I think, to set things in motion, to give them a chance. And if they win the Utah game, it probably means that they have a decent quarterback, So, it's a challenge. It's a very positive outlook. But sometimes things can fall the right way, and things happen. Nobody expected anything out of Arkansas in '98 with the first-year coach. You don't usually get a great season out of a first-year coach, but you have before. It happened in '98. So, that's obviously a very optimistic look at things, but,
Yeah, I'm hearing 8-4. What I'm hearing.
Yeah,
from
8-4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I would really say is probably, I'm not ready to make a prediction, but I don't think I'm going to have them going bowling right now, just mainly based on concerns at quarterback.
I looked at On3 today, On3 Sports, and they had their early look at bowl projections, and Arkansas didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to give. In fact, if Arkansas is not 16th in the preseason media poll, I will be shocked at SEC football media day, Trey.
Could be 15th, but you're right. It's going to be down there.
Who would you put below Arkansas?
Somebody might put Mississippi State below,
That's what I was
even
thinking.
though supposedly they're a little better. Somebody might think Vanderbilt without their quarterback isn't as good, but you're probably right, Randy. But it could be 15th. It won't be any better than that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think it'll be any better than 15th. We saw the ESPN article about off-season moves since the season ended, and Arkansas was 16th. So they go from 2 wins last year, and then all the moves that they made have been the worst in the SEC, according to ESPN. So that's not a very high opinion. And not that Arkansas deserves it, but the only way to cure the issues with Arkansas is to start winning games. And, things happen. Things are cyclical. Teams bounce back. I can remember a time where Arkansas just used to beat the tar out of Mississippi State every single year, and then they started struggling against Mississippi State, or looked like Arkansas was going to be the next big thing in the Western Division when Petrino was here, and then things came crumbling down. So things move up and down. It can happen again. I don't know that it's going to, or not, but it can. I mean, nobody predicted Indiana to have the season they did, obviously win the national championship this past year, but the season before that, first year under Kurt Cignetti, nobody thought that they would win 10 games at Indiana. So things happen. Sometimes it just depends on how things start for you, what kind of momentum you build, and if you have a quarterback or not. Having a star at quarterback can really change things for a program.
Would you have felt any better about the quarterback position if Amalevin would have stayed?
Maybe. I feel like, first of all, we talk about we don't know if they have a good quarterback or not. Well, usually if you have a chance to have a good quarterback, he lights teams up pretty good, or lights his own team up pretty good in the spring. And we didn't really see that much. And maybe that's partly because of learning and, trying to digest the offense and get things down on KJ's behalf. But usually you see, somebody just light him up pretty good. With Iamaleava, it wasn't so much that he's just like fast, it's just his movements are fast. He's just, his shoulder turn, his decision to take off, his aggressiveness downfield. I really liked what I saw out of him as a quarterback, but he's not here anymore, so it doesn't really matter. It would be nice to feel like Arkansas has a dynamic quarterback. But here's the thing, too. Arkansas may not be as talented as some of the teams that they will face. They may be similarly talented as some of the teams they face also. Obviously not the upper echelon of the SEC. But Ryan Silverfield's teams at Memphis, every year he was there, in terms of penalty yardage, they were one of the 4 best teams in the American Conference. Every year that he was head coach, they were one of the 4 best teams in the penalty department. Over the last 4 years, for teams that have been in the conference at least 3 years, I think Army would have been first. They'd only been in the conference for 2 years, these last 2 years. But Memphis led that conference in fewest turnovers. And regardless of how long you've been in the conference, including Army, in turnover margin, they led the conference the last 4 years. Those are areas where Arkansas really struggled. Second worst penalty team in the SEC last year, which is amazing. It seems like they would have easily been worse. And the worst turnover margin in the SEC last year. And then you look at Memphis, and they were really strong in both those categories, and not just last year, but have been for a number of years. In 2024, Memphis had the fewest turnovers lost, second fewest turnovers lost of any team in the country. They only had eight turnovers lost. And then you move it over to special teams. They've had some explosive plays in special teams. They had a 99-yard kickoff return last year. Arkansas didn't really have explosive plays. They brought in Cam Shanks last year at punt returner because he was an All-American, and he did not do anything as a punt returner at Arkansas. So hopefully you get some explosive plays in special teams, and you don't give up explosive plays, and you win in the turnover department. You win in penalties. I know that sounds like a broken record, and I say that all the time, every single year, but those are the things that win football games. When you're a team that you're operating at a deficiency in terms of talent, you can win those categories. If you're smart with the football, you protect it, you emphasize that, you emphasize special teams, and you're disciplined. And I don't just mean like all penalties, but pre-snap penalties, post-snap penalties. Those are the ones that get you. Those post-snap penalties are usually about not being disciplined. The pre-snap penalties about, not being focused. So clean those areas up, and, you can find yourself in position to win some games.
This from our Middleton Heat and Air says, please ask Trey with our quarterback room not being great, why did we not recruit the Greenwood kid? Wouldn't have hurt.
Well, they brought in Hank Hendricks from inside the state. I don't know. It might have been. I don't know how tall he is exactly, but it could have been a height issue. I don't know. It wasn't like, everybody in the SEC was after him. He had some good offers and stuff. I think he ended up at Utah. But, I guess they just didn't see it. Somebody else did, though.
All right, Trey, here's another question.
Hope he has success.
Here's another question for you from our Middleton Heat and Air. Please ask Trey on a scale from 1 to 10 how important the Utah game is. Seems like talking to other fans, they think that game is the difference between a 2 and 3 win season versus maybe a 6 and 7 win season.
Which Trey just addressed that. But go ahead and do it again.
Well, it's true. I mean, it's the same thing that I said last year about, I said that they could win, they would be a 4-win team or an 8-win team last year. And a lot of it is just based on how things start, how they get going out of the gate. And it just took a play. It just took a play to sink the whole season, really. That momentum from the Ole Miss game, that loss, that fumble, sank the whole season. I mean, they did not go into the Memphis game with the same energy, and then they lost the Memphis game the same way, and it's just like, oh, here we go, spiraling out of control. I especially think it's true more nowadays than ever before. It used to be like always the mantra was like they remember in November. You remember? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what Frank and Houston would always say. Yep. But you got to get to November now, and I just think with so many new faces, you've got to have some early season wins to create that buy-in that you might have otherwise developed over years of, having players on your roster. And so I just think it's easier than ever now to let go of the rope when things don't go right. Start pointing fingers, start questioning. You've kind of got some, I don't mean to say shallow relationships, but you don't have that long bond with the guy next to you like you might have in the past. Hey, we all came in the same recruiting class. So you don't even know what. I guarantee you I can go up to a lot of these players on this team and say, hey, who's that guy? And they wouldn't be able to tell me his name. I guarantee you. You would never have thought about that, years and years ago when, maybe you didn't know a couple of freshmen or something if you're an older player, but it's just the way these teams are put together now. I really think starting off strong is more important than ever.
Trey, in the final analysis, what was the national ranking services or whatever it may be, what was the final analysis on Arkansas's transfer portal class?
Dramatically different. Arkansas was not super high on 24/7 Sports. And again, you have to understand how these rankings are done. So the rankings but they were very high on On3. On3 had them like in the top 10. So if you bring in like Jamonte Waller coming out of high school was the number 95 overall prospect in the country, the Auburn transfer. So Waller played some as a freshman, had an injury that kept him out of spring football, and just really got lost in the mix when they had a changeover with defensive coordinator, changeover with his position coach, and just got lost in the mix. Was playing behind a guy that just got drafted in the first round of the draft. His brother's on the team also, and then just kind of got lost in the mix. Well, Waller just a couple of years ago was a top 100 prospect, but as a transfer, he's a 3-star because he doesn't have that production. He's still young. He's just going to be a redshirt sophomore. So you know what I mean? Like, you got a lot of guys like that. Jasper Parker last year in the class of 2025 was a top 10 running back recruit. Well, he was a freshman at Michigan, so he played in 4 games, but he didn't see a lot of action. Well, since he doesn't have that production, he was a 3-star transfer. So if you weren't super productive on the college level, you didn't get like a 4-star rating. You didn't just because you were a 4-star recruit. It's based on what have you done in college. And I look at the defensive line. I think the defensive line might be Arkansas's strongest group. I mean, when you consider the number of guys they got who were 4-star recruits, and I've seen them. I mean, they're a good-looking group of guys. It's just that a lot of them were, redshirt freshmen last year or true freshmen. Hunter Osborne was a redshirt sophomore last year. So they're all younger guys who, are getting to a point where they should be making an impact. But none of them were 4-star transfers. So you have to look at it, kind of like that. Like, yeah, they did get some guys like Joker Johnson or Bryant Williams or Kamori House, guys that were productive and are a little bit older. None of those guys were 4-star recruits, though, but they were productive in college, and they all carry 4-star rankings. So there's that way. But on three does theirs based on players out and players in. Like, how much did you improve your roster, the guys that left and the guys that came in? And so it's just a little bit different formula. But they had them in the top 10. I think Arkansas was, I don't know, in the 30s or something, maybe even worse on 24/7.
All right, Trey, we will talk with you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
TreyBittyHogSports.com being brought to you by Chris Crane Hyundai in Genesis of Conway.
Listen for Champs and Chumps on Fridays during The Zone. Brought to you by Washita Bar and Grill on Central Avenue in Hot Springs and BKC Home Builders, building premier homes in Hot Springs.
Hello, folks. It's Frank Fletcher from the Fletcher Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram store right here in Sherwood. Well, I looked this up, and we've been in business since 1989. That's a long time. Many dealers have come and gone. We believe our pricing policy and our service after the sale have served us well. As you know, folks, we post our sale prices, which we call green tags, right on the windshield. This way, everyone gets the same price, and there's no hoops or no negotiations to jump through to get to the bottom line. I don't like saying so many thousands off. That's very confusing. Off of what? And does that affect my interest rate? So I like to keep things simple. My promise is this: we will not be undersold. We value your time and your decision. Come visit us in Sherwood on Royden Road or check us out with our green tag pricing on FletcherDeals.com. Thank you.
Take it from Arkansas greats Joe Klein and Pat Bradley.
The big national sports apps are now in Arkansas, taking over Oaklawn and Bentley, which are no longer local.
Making Bet Saracen the only real local app.
Still Arkansans' fan fave.
Plus, Bet Saracen is still the official sports betting app of many of the state's colleges and universities.
Bet Saracen, built by Arkansans for Arkansans.
Bet with Arkansans. Bet with Bet Saracen.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET.
Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th, and you can make it unforgettable with something truly special from Tipton & Hurst, Arkansas's premier florist for over a century. Tipton & Hurst is your most trusted source for gorgeous floral arrangements, fine gift baskets, and high-quality blooming plants. If you're looking for something to brighten your Mother's Day, Tipton & Hurst has you covered. Shop at locations in Little Rock, North Little Rock, Conway, Pine Bluff, and Rogers, or enjoy the convenience of delivery right to Mom's doorstep. Don't miss out on this opportunity to show your mother how truly special she is. Call 501-666-3333 or visit TiptonHurst.com today.
Razorback Hamper Sales in Hot Springs is having a huge inventory liquidation sale. All in-stock travel trailers and fifth wheels are being offered at drastically reduced prices. These are the best deals of the year. One of the many great deals is a 26-foot Salem with bunk beds, power awning, plywood floor, and much more for only $21,997 or $235 a month. Now is the time to buy. All these great deals can be seen at RazorbackCampersales.com.
Fraud is on the rise, and scammers are getting more convincing every day. But remember this, your bank will never call you asking for your debit card number, expiration date, PIN, security code, or online banking login information. If you receive a message or call that feels off, trust your instincts. Hang up. Don't click. Don't respond. Instead, contact your bank directly using a number you know and trust. Protect your information. Protect your money. When in doubt, call your bank.
This is Drive Time Sports, fueled by catfish season at Eat My Catfish.
looked at you, you stole my heart. You are all that I anticipated. I wanted you, every part, but I knew love would be complicated. I began to touch, but you wouldn't let it.
Welcome back to Drive Time Sports here on the Buzz Radio Network. Rick Schaeffer. I'm Randy Rainwater. We'll be joined by Bart Reed in just a moment, thanks to Martin Orthopedics. Hot off the presses. That is Riverfront Steakhouse, Wyndham Hotel in North Little Rock. This week's specials. The Thursday night special. It's back. By popular demand, the 12-ounce prime rib with mashed taters and those exclusive, those magnificent rolls with the mound of butter. $39.50. $39.50. What a deal. 8-ounce filet. This has proven to be one of the more popular items, the 8-ounce filet. It is the 8-ounce filet with baked tater. The rolls, got to have those rolls, those delicious dinner rolls like no other. $39.50. And yes, again, back by demand, the 12-ounce bone-in pork chop with mashed or baked taters, $25. Now here's the neat part. With the 8-ounce filet or the 12-ounce bone-in pork chop, add the salad bar for just $6 extra. That's right, $6 extra. So, you get the trio, the three options. The 12-ounce prime rib, the 8-ounce filet, or the 12-ounce bone-in pork chop. That's tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. Riverfront Steakhouse, Wyndham Hotel in North Little Rock. Be sure to make a reservation now. Folks, when we talk about the 12-ounce prime rib or the 8-ounce filet or the 12-ounce bone-in pork chop, it's a done deal. It's a slam dunk. So make a reservation now. 371-9000. 371-9000. That's your Thursday night special. Riverfront Steakhouse, Wyndham Hotel in North Little Rock. Ask for Uncle Shapur or Cousin William. Make your reservation now for tomorrow night for the Thursday night special. The 12-ounce prime rib or the 8-ounce filet or the 12-ounce bone-in pork chop. Riverfront Steakhouse, Wyndham Hotel in North Little Rock.
It's time for the basketball insider in Arkansas. It's Bart Reed. Now, here's Bart.
Here's Bart.
Hey, buddy.
What is going on? Are we getting to the beginning of the real, what we used to call the AAU season? But where are we now on that calendar?
Yeah, so we are looking at Randy, next week the young ladies have their first official live period, which would be the 14th, 15th, and 16th. And then you transition to the boys' first live period, which will be the following weekend, which will be the 21st through the 24th. And so this is a big, big period for a lot of athletes. And it doesn't matter. Still, a lot of players, even if you're not thinking that Power 5 coaches or Power 4 coaches are going to be there, a lot of even local AAU teams will go and travel where the big teams are just for the exposure of it. So we have a young ladies and a young men's live period. And, Randy, that's critical because it's right before the June break where we go. June belongs to the high schools, and that's all camps. And then you come back in July, Randy, and you have really 3 live periods back to back. But it's tournaments all over the place, whether you're hoop play locally, slamming buckets locally, all the different tournaments going on, or you're going out of state. It is nonstop basketball in the month of May, my friend.
Bart, last year about this time, all we were talking about was J.J. Andrews. Who is the talk this year about?
Woo. Well, it's all over the. I'll tell you this, Randy. We talked about the centers making a comeback. It's still all about the guards. There's so many great guards out there. Now, this last class, you have Jordan Smith and Torrey, who I thought played extremely well in the Iverson Classic. Just look fantastic. You have players like Mika Mirnan. Of course, they're coming in, but it is a guard-driven coming up for this next class that you got, this 2027. But Coach Cal will be. We have Memphis is the Nike EYBL, which is where JJ and Mika Mirnan were seen with Brad Beal. So Coach Cal and staff will be burning up between Indianapolis, which is where Adidas is. You have Memphis with EYBL, and I will be in Tulsa where Puma is. And, Randy, they strategically do a good job of making it really close for the college coaches to get out and see as many players as they possibly can.
I'm guessing that guards, and I'm thinking first of the young man from Benton, I would guess he would be at the top of the chain at this particular point.
Brian Cal Jr., yes. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's be specific. Yeah, Brian Cal Jr. is a 6'2 guard, 6'1 guard. Had been started off at Whitehall with an all-state player as a freshman, had a great year, plays for the Arkansas Hawks, plays for Bill. You're talking about a top 60 player in the country, and certainly getting offers and interest already. He can really play, shoots the ball extremely well. Just does it all, plays on both ends. And certainly he is a big-time target to watch out for, as I mentioned, the Hawks will be, and Brian Cal Jr. will be in Indianapolis, as well as 2029 Jamie Dunn at 6'6", that played and started for Central, that competed for a state championship. Jamie kind of plays inside with Central, but has guard type of skills, super athletic. So the Hawks will be represented, and Trey Aleem is also, he's a 17U. And he is playing for Central, and he's a 6'2", 6'3" combo guard. It's one of the best guards in the state, so he's someone to look out for, too, as well.
At what point, or have we reached that point, where almost, if you're not 6'4", I think at minimum, are you even a high D1 prospect if you're not at least 6'4" anymore? I know A-Cuff was 6'2".
Yeah.
And there's always going to be exceptions to the rule, but it seems like that bar seems to keep just going up because these kids are so much bigger than what they used to be.
Yeah, they are bigger and more physical, but I'll say this because I didn't give it. Lane Taylor's brother, Press Taylor, is a 16U, plays for AL Flight. He'll be at Puma. He's a guy that's going to be watched by a lot of D1 coaches. He's below the 6'4" mark, probably 6'1", but he's very, very physical. So, Randy, my response to that is you're right. If you're going to be below 6'4" in this day and time, you cannot be slight and get bumped off your line. You're going to have to be like a Mateen Cleaves or something like that's going to be around that 185 to 200-pound mark where you can make up for what you don't have in size. You can make up for strength because, Randy, spacing is so good. Sometimes these guards are so strong and developed now, they can play bully ball even at a very young age.
All right, you mentioned the big guys.
It's length. Yep.
You mentioned the big guys.
It's all about
Bart,
length.
And
Yes,
Arkansas so far seems to be, I'm not sure, swinging and missing, or maybe in some cases the bar is so high. There was a article that I was reading today on On3, and it broke down. I believe it was On3. It doesn't matter where I found it. But it was talking about, this was On3. It says you have got 15 to 20 programs that are already exceeding $20 million budgets, if you will, for transfer portal classes.
Oh, my gosh, really?
20 million, 15
Wow.
to 20.
Wow.
There is another group of 15 to 20 or anywhere from 12 to $15 million. Now, I read this article at least a couple times just to make sure I didn't miss something.
This is basketball.
This is basketball.
This is basketball. And football, no telling what some people are spending. That's amazing.
And so, guys, here's my question back to you guys. Is Arkansas really swinging and missing, or is Coach Cal tapping the brakes and saying, it's a talent, but we're not going to be irresponsible with funds and spend $3 million on you can't say average type talent, but if you're going to spend that type of money, I think you want to get someone that's a difference maker. So are you going to spend $3 million or $2.8 million on a guy that's averaging 4 points a game? Because that's really the question.
They got burned last year. I mean, let's face it, Pringle on the signing looked great. He was less than average. And then Ewing was just okay, and at the end of the year he was pretty good, but you're talking about only for 5 or 6 or 8 games. We don't know what they were paid, but you got to think that both of them were highly regarded. And so, would you pay $3 million for one of those guys this year? I'd hope not. Or someone like that.
I don't think so, and I'll say this: Mika Miernan, both of his parents were pros, high-level pros. People think he could be better than Dirk Nowitzki and could be a top 3 NBA pick. That's how talented this guy is. No, I'm telling you guys. I watched him at Nike 16. He was on the same team with J.J. Andrews. And in the championship game, Miernan went for 27, 6, and 5. And absolutely, this kid is dominant. Cooper Bowser, 6'11". He's extremely talented and versatile. If you go get a guy like, I really like the guy from LSU. He's not a true center, but he's got a lot of skill. You just need to have more than Arkansas had last year, because you really only had 2 on the interior. If you've got, like Samito, if you've got 3 or 4, it would be nice if Malik Ewing could get an extra year and would come out of the transfer portal and come back, because then you would be set. As long as Billy Richmond does not go to the NBA draft, I think they will pick up a big man, but I don't think Coach Cal wants to spend $3.5 million on a 7'2" big man averaging 8 points a game. I just don't see it. I think there's better options. You can maybe get 2 for the same price.
This article went on to say the $20 million club, Texas roster, is pushing the $20 million mark, similar to Tennessee and Louisville. Louisville has really spent. Duke, which is traditionally built through the high school ranks, it again holds the number 1 class in the Rivals Industry Team Recruiting Rankings. It's also expected to exceed $20 million. The Blue Devils were active. They added Wisconsin guard John Blackwell on a deal sources said is upwards to $4 million. $4 million.
Duke is playing 3 games on Prime Video, non-conference games, that evidently they are going to get an enormous amount of money from. And all the other leagues are mad because Duke's getting most of the haul out of that. So that's where they're getting money to spend.
Hang tight, Bart. We got to step away for a moment. Hang tight.
Your family fun headquarters.
Roger Scott for Gravely Mowers here, working hard once again to make sure my lawn is lush, weed-free, and beautiful. And by working hard, of course, I mean watching Zach Eby mow it for me. Zach, tell the good folks hello.
Hello.
That's enough. Pay attention, because you missed a spot. What he didn't tell you is that you can take your very own Gravely Mower home today at 0% interest over 48 months. That's right, 0% interest on both residential and commercial mowers. Now, Zach, tell them where they can go and get their very own Gravely Mower.
Well,
dude, just mow. Hoco Turf in West Little Rock or Stockton Power Equipment in Sheridan.
Down south, a handshake means something, and we let our actions do the talking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is rooted in Southern tradition and grit. Southern-born and raised and Arkansas-based, Brad Hendricks is named a Mid-South super lawyer year after year. So for car and big truck wrecks, medical malpractice, wrongful death, bankruptcy, and Social Security claims, his law firm produces results. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Southern roots, serious results.
Good things come in mini packages at Southland Casino Hotel this May and June. Join us for Cruising into Summer. Saturdays from 7 to 11 p.m., 450 winners share over $400,000 in free play and prizes. One free daily entry, 500 points earns one more. Grand prize winners on May 30th and June 27th win a share of $10,000 free play or a 2026 Mini Cooper convertible. Cruise into summer at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 or older. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
1067 Buzz 2 is your home for Arkansas Travs baseball. Hear every pitch, every crack of the bat on 1067 Buzz 2. For the full calendar, go to Travs.com. It's the greatest game on dirt, and you can hear it all on 1067 Buzz 2.
Now back to Drive Time Sports in the Eat My Catfish studios, where the talk is hot and the food is always fresh and local.
Welcome back to Drive Time Sports. Mother's Day is coming this Sunday. Giving good. Yes, right. Giving feels good. It's a lesson worth teaching. This Mother's Day, let kids help pick out Mother's Day's gift, because teaching children the joy of giving is one of the most meaningful gifts of all. At Robert Irwin Jewelers, family-owned business and believes in family. They have a 2-carat diamond lab-grown tennis bracelet or a pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond studs for just $7.99 while supplies last. And Diamond Essentials, a classic collection of crafted natural diamonds, solitaire earrings, pendants, bracelets featuring perfectly matched diamonds with excellent proportions to ensure you get a bigger and brighter sparkle. Starting at $299 to $99.99. Spend $1,899 on anything during Mother's Day sale and receive a free pair of half-carat 3-stone diamond earrings. Free financing, 12 months, 0% interest, or take up to 60 months to pay. Bigger, brighter diamonds, better prices. Mother's Day sale going on at Robert Irwin Jewelers. 2 locations in the Little Rock area, McCain Mall in North Little Rock, and the Diamond Showcase in the Pleasant Ridge Town Center next to the Fresh Market, or go online at rijewelers.com.
It's time for the basketball insider in Arkansas. It's Bart Reed. Now, here's Bart.
All right.
So, Randy, I want to say this right quick. Can I say this real quick?
Yeah,
I don't
sure,
want
Bart.
Arkansas
Go
fans
ahead.
to freak out, because we're talking about the NIL, and I'm real big into the numbers, obviously. And I wanted to take a look back and see last season who spent the most money and what did they get for that. And if you look at it, really out of the top 6 spins in the country, so that's Kentucky, unless I'm one off, maybe it's Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisville, Indiana. It's give or take. Only one of those teams was in the Elite Eight, and it was Tennessee, and I think that was a little bit of a fluke, to be honest. They got a favorable draw on some teams. Of the teams in the Sweet 16, Randy, over 80% of them did not spend over $16 million. So, and I'm not saying that's not a bunch of money. I'm saying there's still a factor. You can spend all the money in the world. If you don't identify talent, and that talent does not mix with your style and roster, and there's no way to predict out of the transfer portal if a player is going to predict. Just because they rank them doesn't mean it fits your system.
Mm-hmm.
So just because you spend a bunch of money does not mean you're going to have a lot of success. We'll just say that.
Well, they're about to enter into the $20 million club, Tennessee, apparently. And, Louisville, Duke, there's several that they listed in that $20 million club, including Texas. Texas, no surprise there. $20 million.
Yeah.
Then Tennessee, Louisville. That's the other ones. Duke.
It's incredible.
Indiana is in the $10 to $15 million range this year. And let's see, who else did they list in here on that particular? North Carolina.
What's Michigan spending? Double R? Are Michigan spending a ton again?
They're going to say anywhere between 10 and 15. A&M.
Well,
they are in that $10 to $15 million range. Miami, Arizona, Michigan, UConn, Houston, South Carolina is expected to cross the $10 million threshold this year.
It's incredible. And can we say this for our friend Porter Mosier? Thank goodness they gave him another year. How he wins the amount of games he wins on a $4 to $5 million budget is beyond me.
That's amazing.
That's the thing it's amazing. So hats off to Coach Porter Mosier, who's done a great job. He's a great recruiter anyway, and just a great basketball mind. But if you give him the type of money that these schools are getting, the 12 to 15, watch out, because Oklahoma will be right there in the hunt.
All right, Bart, this is from our Middleton Heat and Airbus text line. LC says, I realize I'm a glass half full dude, but Bart was going on and on about Terrion Burgess. I understand he's injured, but if he was really that great, it's fair to say, and it's yet to be determined, or perhaps he wasn't talented enough for Cal because you didn't have, at the time, like Bart screamed, to be a hog.
Well, I don't think I don't think I was screaming for him to be a hog. Terrion is a very talented basketball player and projects to continue getting talented. First of all, he's extremely young for his grade. And when you have guys that grow like that, a lot of times they don't put on weight in high school. They have to get to college to put on weight. And I promise you, and Double R, I don't know if you agree, you put 20 pounds on Terrion Burgess and watch out, because he's a great player. I don't think his size put him in between at the SEC. I don't think he shot it well enough catch and shoot wise to be a stretch 3 or 4, but he wasn't big enough to go bang in the post and heavy enough. But that's something that he can work on. He's just a freshman, barely 18 when he went to college. So I wouldn't count Terrion yet, because he certainly does have pro prospects. Is plenty of NBA D-League guys were all over him at the Adidas 3SSB event.
And he's got a new coach to work with, Travis Ford, so we'll be interested to see how that transition goes about. All right, Bart, we've been talking money. We've been talking about a lot of money, but Arkansas still is lacking in the post. And most, if not all, of those major targets are gone. Does that now mean that Arkansas must look to the international market maybe to pick up at least one more big man?
Well, maybe not, because you have the 7'1" Mika handle get from Florida, and I always murder his name, but he's a guy that's a big body, 255, 260, rebounds well, can bang, great ball screen situations. So he certainly is an option, and I know Arkansas has been I won't say hard after him, but certainly looking at him extremely hard. I really like Robert Miller III, the power forward, 6'10", 230 from LSU. He's not a traditional big, but he's out there. He's in the portal. He does a lot of great things. He's very skilled, can shoot the ball. So again, you can make up for certain deficiencies as far as weight if you bring in enough length, and you can sub that length and create some mismatches. So it's just a different style of play. And I think, Randy, the one saving grace for Coach Cal, I don't know if you've watched any of this summer basketball, our guards might be the most physical guards in the country. Jordan Smith, Torrey, and J.J. Andrews are freaks of nature strength-wise. They're 200-pound guards, freshmen. So the guards can help and create some of those mismatches for strength if they're missing some things inside. But right now they've got 2 to 3 solid big guys. I think certainly maybe one of the top picks in the draft next year, Mika Miernan, coming in. So I think they're okay. But overseas, if you don't get those two, that's where you're going to have to look, because I don't think any more players are going to reclass in high school.
Well, I was teasing with Hoop Scoop the other day. He mentioned Luigi Solgo, 7'3", 240 pound. He's from Italy, and I joked he could get Luigi's as his NIL sponsor. But yet, when you look at his numbers, they're not that impressive. Now, he was playing in the professional league, KK Mega Basket. He played for KK Mega Basket. But his numbers are not that overwhelming. 8.1 points, 5.3 rebounds, 1.1 block, 56% from the floor. Played just 19 minutes a game. But he is waiting on the NBA process. And there are so many others that are possibilities, but they likewise, you got to wait and see if they get their eligibility extended, whether it be playing in JUCO 1 year otherwise, which leaves still major question marks, because the one thing that I think is missing inside for Arkansas, you like to have the scoring, but just the physicality. I'm not sure that Arkansas has the physicality right now inside.
Right, and Miernan is a two-level shot blocker, but I'll say this. Don't get so hung up in the European numbers, because these are high-level leagues close to the NBA, where these are 18 and 19-year-olds playing against 30 and 35-year-old men, so those numbers are pretty good, Double R.
Enjoyed the Puma event this weekend, Bart. We'll talk with you next week. Bart Reed.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks to Martin Orthopedics. Coming up next, our NFL agent and guru, Chris Turnage. Hour number 3 straight ahead.
An evening with legendary comedian Jeff Foxworthy.
But they have a rule in my neighborhood. If you walk your dog and your dog does his business in somebody else's yard, you need to get a little plastic bag, pick it up, and dispose of it. So you drive through my neighborhood and there's all these attractive women walking around with poo-poo purses.
Jeff Foxworthy Live. Saturday, July 11th, Saracen Casino Event Center. Get tickets now through Ticketmaster.
Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th, and you can make it unforgettable with something truly special from Tipton & Hurst, Arkansas's premier florist for over a century. Tipton & Hurst is your most trusted source for gorgeous floral arrangements, fun gift baskets, and high-quality blooming plants. If you're looking for something to brighten your Mother's Day, Tipton & Hurst has you covered. Shop at locations in Little Rock, North Little Rock, Conway, Pine Bluff, and Rogers, or enjoy the convenience of delivery right to Mom's doorstep. Don't miss out on this opportunity to show your mother how truly special she is. Call 501-666-3333 or visit TiptonHurst.com today.
Fence Brokers presents Razorback Graffiti every Monday with Morning Mayhem. One sentence to let the guys know how you feel about the Razorbacks from Fence Brokers. Going the extra mile.
Don't get sidetracked.
That man is playing Galaga.
We'll keep you on course.
Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
103.7 The Buzz. Buzz News with KARK's Gary Burton Jr.
Governor Sanders is set to sign tax cuts into law today to conclude the special session. Identical bills have passed the state House of Representatives and the Senate. It would lower the top individual income tax rate 0.2%, bringing it to 3.7%. It would be retroactive to January 1st. Now, another 0.2 cut for corporate income tax would drop it to 4.1%. It would not take effect until next year on January 1st. The governor has scheduled a signing for 1 p.m. today. And also today, the venue for the 3rd annual Month of May Block Party and Women's Health Expo put on by the Arkansas Department of Health has changed because of weather. Instead of being in the front lawn of War Memorial Stadium, it will be at the concourse near the west entrance. The free event is from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. For the Buzz Radio Network, I'm KARK's Gary Burton Jr.
Anywhere in the state, dial 888-8888 for Rainwater, Holton, Sexton. They'll help you weather the storm.
Weather from the Fletcher Weather Center with KARK's Pat Walker.
The chance of severe weather may be gone, but still rain showers today. 60% chance of rain. Cool, a little breezy with a high of 62 degrees. Still a 40% chance of rain showers tonight. Will drop all the way down to 50. Thursday will be a mostly sunny day and warm up to 70. For the Buzz Radio Network, I'm meteorologist Pat Walker.
Are you hungry? Something new, $25, all you can eat, sushi rolls, soup, salad, Benihana rice. Come at Benihana's Monday through Thursday.
The 22nd annual Double B's BBQ benefiting Ronald McDonald House Charities of Arkansas and North Louisiana is coming up May 9th at the downtown Riverside RV Park in North Little Rock. Sample barbecue from some of the best barbecue cooks in Arkansas competing for the coveted BBQ Grand Champion Trophy. It's the 22nd annual Double B's BBQ, May 9th, brought to you by Oaklawn Sports, Bud Light, and Gravely Mowers. Special thanks to Jazz Camper Rental and Arkansas Golf and Power Sports. Get your tickets at BuzzBQ.com.
Hello, folks. It's Frank Fletcher from the Fletcher Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram store right here in Sherwood. Well, you know, I looked this up, and we've been in business since 1989. That's a long time. You know, many dealers have come and gone. We believe our pricing policy and our service after the sale have served us well. As you know, folks, we post our sale prices, which we call green tags, right on the windshield. This way, everyone gets the same price, and there's no hoops or no negotiations to jump through to get to the bottom line. I don't like saying so many thousands off. That's very confusing. Off of what? And does that affect my interest rate? So I like to keep things simple. My promise is this: we will not be undersold. We value your time and your decision. Come visit us in Sherwood on Royden Road, or check us out with our green tag pricing on FletcherDeals.com. Thank you.
Razorback Camper Sales in Hot Springs is having a huge inventory liquidation sale. All in-stock travel trailers and fifth wheels are being offered at drastically reduced prices. These are the best deals of the year. One of the many great deals is a 26-foot Salem with bunk beds, power awning, plywood floor, and much more for only $21,997 or $235 a month. Now is the time to buy. All these great deals can be seen at RazorbackCampersales.com.
Hawks Homes, Arkansas's #1 dealer. They have more inventory than anyone in Arkansas. Hawks Homes is celebrating its 40th anniversary this month. In honor of that, Hawks is selling a home at $39,995. Hawks has other specials going on, other models as well. Be sure to take advantage of this great deal. Only lasts the month of May. We also offer custom-built manufactured and modular homes. 1 to 5 bedroom homes that can be built to accommodate your needs. Check us out at Conway and Bryant with over 65 models to choose from, or go online at hawkshomes.net.
FanDuel, in partnership with Oaklawn Racing Casino Resort, is now available in Arkansas. FanDuel is giving you better payouts on same-day parlays all NBA playoffs long. With more ways to build and more value every time you play, you can stack your picks your way for every game, every matchup, and every moment. From spreads to player points to threes and more, build it all into one same-game parlay and go for bigger payouts. So if you're betting same-game parlays this NBA postseason, bet them on FanDuel. More options, better payouts, all NBA playoffs long. Head to FanDuel.com/Arkansas to get started. Play your game. 21 plus and present in Arkansas. First online real money wager, only $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Luxury Pool and Spa in Conway and Russell is your headquarters for pool and spa chemicals. Luxury Pool and Spa is ready to get your pool balanced and swim ready with Pool Life and Baquasil Pool Chemicals. Luxury Pool and Spa is also a proud dealer of Polywood Outdoor Furniture, Climate Tough Materials, Color Stay Technology, and the 20-year warranty. If you're thinking about a hot tub, they have the amazing Caldera hot tubs in stock on their showroom floor. Live the life of luxury with Luxury Pool and Spa. LuxuryPoolArkansas.com.
I'm Alan LeVar. For 25 years, my team and I have helped injury victims across Arkansas. This is our home. We don't work for insurance companies, we work for you. Car crash, truck wreck, motorcycle collision. We know how to win, and if you can't come to us, we'll come to you. Your consultation is always free and confidential. Hurt in the car? Call LeVar. Arkansas strong for 25 years and ready when you need us. LeVar Law. Arkansas built, Arkansas trusted.
Live Live from the Eat My Catfish studios, it's time for Arkansas's #1 collar-driven sports show. It's Drive Time Sports on the Buzz Radio Network with your hosts, Randy Rainwater and Rick Schaeffer. Lock it in and get ready to dial us up. Drive Time Sports is on the air.
Hour number 3 of Drive Time Sports here on the Buzz Radio Network. Rick Schaeffer standing by in Northwest Arkansas. I'm Randy Rainwater from the capital city. In a moment, we'll be joined by Chris Turnage, our NFL agent and guru. Year in, year out, terrain changes, seasons change, even the rules change. But one thing stays the same, Honda ATVs show up ready. The 2026 4-track Rancher, Foreman, and Rubicon are back and just as reliable as ever. Built to haul, climb, and conquer, these are machines folks count on to get the job done, and they're available now at Honda of Russellville. From selectable 4-wheel drive and automatic DCT options to independent rear suspension on select models, there's a Honda ATV built for how you ride. Whether you're hauling feed, mending fences, or heading deep into the woods, you can count on your Honda. Because when the going's tough, proving matters, and that's Honda. Honda of Russellville. Check out the 2026 Honda ATV lineup, Rancher, Foreman, and Rubicon, ready when you are. And don't forget, you can always go online at HondaofRussellville.com. Just check out the entire inventory. That's exit 82 in Russellville, better known as the Whataburger exit. Honda of Russellville.
When you need to know what's really going down, you need to bring in your NFL agent and guru. Here's Chris Turnage.
Chris, what is going on in the National Football League as we speak?
Well, you've got about, 26 teams will start their rookie mini camps tomorrow. You had the other 6 do it last weekend. And then so 26 bring in all their rookies, so they're drafted, they're undrafted free agents, and then their tryout guys. And they get assembled for this weekend. So for the tryout guys, those are guys that don't have a contract. They have a 3-day tryout essentially, fighting for their lives to be able to get a contract. And you'll see, on average, a team might switch out one guy they signed for a tryout guy just because maybe the guy they signed showed up out of shape or something like that. And then, it's a time for the drafted guys, undrafted guys, start getting the playbook, start working with coaches. And then after that, they stay and roll right into OTAs, organized team activities, that are usually different teams have different schedules, usually Monday through Friday. Some go Monday through Thursday plus Saturday. So then you go to OTAs, and there's 3 different schedules of OTAs. The first part is coaches can't be in the field and interact. No live tackling. Second part, coaches are on the field. You can have the ball down there. Still no live tackling. And then third part, you can start doing some live tackling and different things like that. There's a few other differences there. So that's kind of the schedule that's happening right now. And then every team will break sometime mid-June for about a month, sometime mid-July, and then report back for camp.
So of the 6 that have already had their rookie camps, have you heard anything outstanding from any of them?
No, nothing crazy. So the Raiders was one of those that had their rookie mini camp. So Mike Washington got to get on the field a little bit, but no, nothing too crazy so far about the ones that already had it.
Chris, what is the roster limits now? What is it, 56 during the regular season?
So 90. Yeah, they're at 90 right now.
90 right now, okay.
Now they can have 91 if they have an international player that's not international, being defined as not American or Canadian. And so, for example, the guy that the Eagles drafted, UR Bernard, he doesn't doesn't count, so they can have up to 91 with him. And then they'll pare it down. You know, they used to do 3 rounds of cuts, then they went down to 2 rounds of cuts. Now it's just 1 round after that 3rd game. So after that 3rd preseason game, then every team has to be down from 90 to 53.
Good gracious. That's some big time cuts.
It is. It's a lot of guys getting cut, and then of course they can turn around and sign back, you know, their practice squad or whatever. But yeah, you go down from 90 to 53, man. That's a lot of guys going home.
That's right. Hey, what's the practice squad now? What's the largest number you can have?
As far as the amount of players on practice squad?
Yes.
16. So you get 16 spots, and then again you would have a 17th if you had that international guy on the practice squad.
Okay. All right. So that's a lot of cuts, but at least 16 per team, or 16 is going to other teams. 16 times 32, that's a lot of jobs regained. So
it is.
So
Yep,
don't they?
it is.
But don't they kind of whittle away at these rosters rather than keeping 90 all the way until the 3rd preseason game?
You know, you'll see some teams do that. Some teams will go ahead and cut a couple guys here or there. And the reason for that is if they know this guy is not making their squad, not making their P squad, they don't want that guy to get injured in the game and then be on the hook for his salary if he got injured, you know, towards ACL or something. So you'll see some teams make a few cuts here and there. Most aren't going to go below 85 just because in that 3rd preseason game, a lot of them won't play a ton of their starters, you know, and want to make sure they got enough to get through practice and get through games without injuries. So you'll see, again, some whittled down, but not you know, many below 85.
All right, Chris, I've got a question for you by way of our D3. Make that our Middleton Heat and Airbus text line. What is the salary for a practice squad guy?
So this upcoming year, it'll be $13,500 a week, $13,500 a week.
Wow.
So if you can last a whole season, you can make some pretty good money.
Yeah, over $230,000.
Yeah. Not the NFL minimum, but yeah, more than most of us make. That's not bad for being on the practice squad.
No,
right,
we're just practicing.
Right. Now you don't get credited seasons, which goes towards your pension and those kind of things while you're in the practice squad. But you obviously get a nice salary, and you do get some health insurance benefits, obviously, and stuff like that. But the big benefits come when you can get active for 3 games.
Okay, I've just got to do it. Okay, I've got to get it out of the way. I read where maybe the Steelers are getting fed up with Aaron Rodgers. Now there seems to be maybe a question that he could be headed towards the Arizona Cardinals.
You know, it's interesting. The Steelers had said we anticipate, you know, hearing from Aaron Rodgers before the time we heard from him last year. You know, he's committed to us that he's going to make that decision. I mean, I do believe they've certainly had talks. I don't know if that's true about the Arizona Cardinals. I read an article about that, Randy, as well. I don't know if that's just a reporter kind of linking the dots to say, hey, the Cardinals don't have anybody. It would make sense. They don't have a starting quarterback, or if there's truly some I know this. When I talked to one of my Steelers guys last week, and he felt like it was either them or he would retire. But he could conceivably go have some talks to Arizona. We'll see, but I don't know that has legs yet.
One of their players, I think the story Randy's talking about, one of their players was talking about trying to convince him to come to Arizona, and maybe that's where it started. Don't know if he's interested or not, or listening,
perhaps,
but
yep.
That's where the story started.
Yep, no doubt. And, I mean, look, at the same time, I get it. Like, you know, you want to take some time to think about it, but, I mean, what more are you going to learn in 3 weeks or 4 weeks' time that you don't know right now as far as playing? You know, to me, it's like I either want to come out and play or I don't, and let's make that decision. So I don't know. It's just you'd think if it's Aaron Rodgers, you want the best team around you, and you'd want to go get to know those guys because that's going to make all you guys better. And so, you know, now it's not uncommon for star quarterbacks to miss OTAs because it is voluntary. But, again, if I'm Aaron Rodgers and I say, hey, this is going to be my last season for sure, I'd want to go. They got Michael Pittman in a trade from the Colts, who's a really good receiver. Hey, I'd want to go get to know him. You've got, obviously still DK Metcalf. You've drafted some new guys. So, I don't know. It's interesting. The longer he drags it out, I feel like the worse he kind of hurts himself a little bit in that regard.
Yeah. All right, explain the process to me, Chris, because all this salary cap and dead money and all this other stuff that comes into play, essentially, we'll use Kyler Murray as an example. He ends up now signing with Minnesota. Does Minnesota absorb all that money that was owed to him from the Arizona Cardinals, or do they prorate that? I mean, how does that work?
No, so that's with the Arizona Cardinals, and Minnesota is only paying him, I think I read, it's like $1 million a year because Kyler's getting the rest of it from Arizona. So they're getting a heck of a deal with their start. I mean, they got, two, if you consider J.J. McCarthy a starting caliber quarterback, but he was a first-round pick, but they got two quarterbacks that are very, very cheap. They probably got the cheapest quarterback room in the league with, two decent quarterbacks because they're paying him. It's kind of like when coaches, Randy, when they get fired and the new school says, hey, I'll pay you this and let the other school pay your buyout, the rest of it. So that's what they're doing. So Minnesota doesn't incur any of that dead cap at all or the old cap money. They could incur however much they chose to pay him because there's an offset there. That the obligation that Arizona has is offset by what anybody else is willing to pay. But obviously, if you're Minnesota, why would you want to pay him more if you don't have to? So, but that dead cap would stay with Arizona. Whoever did the original contract at the time, then that's their baby to deal with.
So it doesn't matter how many times Kyler Murray now from this point gets cut, whatever was guaranteed on that contract, or how many years left on that contract, how much dead money he left behind, that is still going to be owed by the Arizona Cardinals.
Correct. Not necessarily owed. Well, his guaranteed money would be owed. The dead money might not be owed, depending on if there's a difference there, but they would just be a cap count against their cap.
That is absolutely crazy. Now, is the NFL the only league that has these kind of rules, so to speak, on a player who gets cut, you got all this dead money? Are they the only league that does something like this?
Well, the NBA has a salary cap as well. It's considered a soft cap because there's a lot of ways around their cap when you have players that stay with your team, and become all NBA, and you can get Supermax deals and those kind of things. I mean, that being said, like Donovan Mitchell for the Cavs, if the Cavs re-sign Donovan Mitchell, he will get the largest contract in NBA history because length of time he's been, bigger than anybody's ever gotten. So point to that is, NBA, there's still some dead cap rules, but there's certainly not as many rules because they're considered, more of a soft cap. There's not as many of the dead cap charges that you see like you do in the NFL. NFL is by far the most predominant when it comes to those things.
What did the cap jump to in this new league year for the NFL? So
it's like, if I remember right, the final number came out as like 312, something like that. So it's the largest, obviously, it's ever been. And that's the thing, guys, is that's where, 15 years ago, we might have talked about this. You would never see somebody take on a dead cap hit of $30 million because it would kill your cap. Mm-hmm. Back when you had a $100 million cap and a third of it is tied up to a player that's not even playing for you. But now, because that cap goes up 30, 40, 50 million every year, teams aren't afraid to say, hey, let's go ahead and bite the bullet, take this cap hit and move on. So it's really interesting to watch the movements and the mechanisms that teams use now for these things.
I didn't hear anything about, or didn't read anyway, anything about Fernando Mendoza. How did his introduction in the National Football League, how did his mini camp go?
Yeah, I heard that he was learning the playbook, and he was already kind of working with his receivers quite a bit, working on routes. It was interesting. Indiana got invited to the White House, And Mendoza said, I would absolutely love to go to the White House. However, if it's on the first day of our OTAs, he's like, as a rookie, I need to be at OTAs, even though I would love to go. So, and it was.
I think we lost Chris.
We lost him. I was going to say.
Well, can you hear me? Sorry about that. I had a call. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently the caller's calling back, though.
That's right. You would think that.
Call me later.
I know the president's a busy guy, but they would reschedule that where Mendoza could go if the team wanted to go, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe the team's going without him. I don't know. I haven't seen anything on that. Well,
okay. Maybe
we lost him. I wanted to see what he thought of Brendan Sorsby, if he thinks that he's got any chance for college eligibility, or if he does think there's going to be a supplemental draft. And I don't know what you think about that. It's hard to guess, except again, from what you're reading about him, he made a lot of bets. He didn't make like large bets, $1,000 or anything like that, but he made a lot of bets, including betting on his own team. So I got to believe the NCAA is they're going to win that one if it goes to court. So there he is.
He is.
Hey guys, you there?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I got kicked off there.
I was asking Chris about Sorsby. If you think there's any chance at all he gets eligible again, or do you think there could be a supplemental draft with him? Or what if that date passes? Does he just, if he's not eligible, he just become a free agent?
Correct. Yeah. So if he has to apply to enter into the supplemental draft, the league can say yes or no. Now, generally, the supplemental draft is because of eligibility issues. Generally, the league will let it go to say, all right, let's see if anybody wants to draft him, and let that kind of control. But they do not have to. And in this instance, I wouldn't be surprised if either A, the league said no because of it's tied to gambling, especially games that you were in, that you played in, or B, they said you're going to be suspended for a year, 2 years before anybody can take a chance on you. I wouldn't be shocked to see either one of those things happen just because of the stance on gambling, especially gambling on games, that you're playing in. But to answer your question, Rick, if he got approved to do supplemental and he didn't get drafted, then he could theoretically be a free agent and go sign with anybody as long as he wasn't suspended.
Well, he made a lot of $1 and $2.50 bets. He bet on the Reds, but he also bet on Indiana. Even though was he even playing in the games? I don't think he played in the games.
But he's on the roster.
Yeah.
And if he's wearing a uniform and he's on the roster,
right?
Because obviously he's going to have all the inside information anybody could ever get. He knows who's hurt. He knows what the game plan is.
This week. Yeah, exactly.
Definite advantage.
What about Stephon Diggs? What's going to happen with Stephon Diggs now that he's been found innocent?
Yeah, so obviously jury found him not guilty. I do think, some teams are going to still have a little bit of concern just that he had to go through it. However, some team is absolutely going to sign him and say, hey, he was found not guilty and this is our justice system. That's all we have to go on. And we feel comfortable with him. So, some team is going to sign him. Obviously, he declined last year quite a bit from where he was in terms of being that all-star level type receiver. But it is a needy position, and you'll see some team that will absolutely sign him and run with it and then just kind of, manage any PR fallout if there is any.
Diggs, he last played for Buffalo. Is that the last team he played with?
No, he played with Patriots last year.
Patriots,
last year.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember him as a Bill. I guess I didn't pay attention to him
that's
last
where he kind
year.
of made his name, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I'm guessing he'll get an opportunity, but I'm wondering, what in his case, such as his, does he lose any kind of bargaining power? I would guess he's going to be lucky to reunite, I would think, with another National Football League team.
Yeah, again, I think some team will sign him. certainly there is a little bit loss of bargaining power, but yeah, I think some team will sign him and say, let's see what happens. Again, there's going to be some PR issues they're going to have to address, but the team can stand by and say, he's innocent. So I do think some team will sign him. It's not going to be the contract that he would probably want or that he's gotten in the past, but I do think you'll see a team that needs a number 3 receiver that says, hey, let's sign him as number 3. He's been great, and go on.
Because nobody gives up on talent. I mean, you have to be in jail practically for somebody to say we're not going to sign you. That's just a fact of life, don't you think?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
In fact, I saw a funny kind of a commentary, Rick, about that exact thing. If you guys remember, Henry Ruggs was a first-round draft pick of the Raiders and then had that terrible crash where he killed the lady because he was, going 130 miles an hour and was sentenced to jail. He's getting out and applying to the NFL. And I saw a columnist make a kind of a joke. He said, I guarantee there's been teams trying to scout his 40 in the jail yard to see if they still want to sign him, and they'll forgive everything else. And to Rick's point, the greater the talent, the greater the tolerance. That's always been kind of the motto there.
Travel safely out there, Chris. We will talk with you next week.
Thanks, guys.
That is Chris Turnage, our NFL agent and guru. Rick Schaeffer. I'm Randy Rainwater. Drive Time Sports will continue in just one moment.
The 6th Annual Pulaski County Fair, presented by Oaklawn Hot Springs, is returning to the banks of the Arkansas River in North Little Rock, May 15th through May 24th. Rides, games, novelties, art vendors, and of course, plenty of food and cold beer. Fun for the whole family, and it's only $5 at the gate. Kids 10 and under get in free. For more information, go to thepulaskicountyfair.net, and we'll see you at the fair. Hurry and get your discounted ride wristbands for just $22 April 15th until May 15th at the North Little Rock Tourism Office.
When you think CertaPro Painters, you probably think interior and exterior painting for homes and commercial properties, which we do beautifully. But did you know that we're more than just paint? CertaPro also provides expert carpentry, sheetrock repairs, deck and fence staining, and durable garage and patio concrete coatings. Whether you're refreshing your home, upgrading a commercial space, or restoring outdoor areas, we deliver professional results with the quality and service you expect. Call CertaPro Painters today or schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro Painters, that's certainty.
Everyone at U.S. Truck Accessories would like to extend their gratitude to the great customers that have supported them for 24 years. U.S. Truck wants to show you all how much you're appreciated. With family vacations on the horizon, U.S. Truck will install all bed covers purchased during the month of May at no additional cost. That's right, free installation on bed covers. Make your vacation better with a visit to U.S. Truck Accessories and save some of your hard-earned money. U.S. Truck Accessories in Searcy or Conway. Work hard, play hard.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Smooth accelerators. When that light turns green, you're off. Like a warm knife through firm butter. Going from 0 to the speed limit in an appropriate amount of time. Sure, your car has horsepower, but your horses prance around as silky smooth as your right foot. Fancy Prancerton. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I went to Staples for a custom-printed graduation banner and invites and saw that Party City is now at Staples.
Wait, what?
Party City is now at Staples.
So now Staples has balloons?
Yep.
Decorations?
Yes.
Streamers, cups, table covers?
Yep, Staples has everything for a party. And now buy 2 get 1 free on select foil balloons.
Holy confetti! So the best party started Staples.
That was easy.
In 613 select stores, exclusions apply. In-store or buy online. Pick up in-store only.
When work needs doing or the trail calls, you need a machine that's ready for both. Honda's line of Pioneer side-by-side. Choose the Compact 520, the powerful 700 series, or go big with the 1000 line. Built for 3, 5, or 6. Visit Honda of Russellville or HondaofRussellville.com today and find your perfect Honda Pioneer side-by-side. For your safety, read the owner's manual and wear a helmet and eye protection. Always wear a seatbelt and close the side nets and doors when operating. Honda side-by-sides are for riders 16 and older. Hit a home run with your next project at Natural State Wholesale, The Warehouse, 2011 North 2nd Street in Cabot. Knock it out of the park with unbeatable savings on building materials. From flooring to faucets, shingles to bathtubs, butcher block countertops to ceiling fans. They've got everything you need to build your dream. Don't strike out paying high prices. Call 501-605-8739 and score big savings today. Natural State Wholesale, The Warehouse, where every deal is a home run.
You're listening to Drive Time Sports live from the Eat My Catfish studios. Feeding a crowd, catering from Eat My Catfish has you covered. Often imitated but never duplicated. This is Drive Time Sports with Randy Rainwater on the Buzz Radio Network.
First Security's motto has been bank better. Connect with First Security. Keep up with all things First Security and all things Arkansas on your favorite social channels. Not just only in Arkansas, we're all about Arkansas. First Security is committed to providing exceptional banking for all customers in our home state. We live out that commitment with regular investments in advanced services, new locations, local infrastructure, and much more. All without losing our local touch. First Security is so proud of Arkansas. We create an entire site dedicated to the charms of the natural state. Visit onlyinark.com today for an in-depth look at the people, places, attractions, food, and fun that makes Arkansas the only place we want to be. For all things Arkansas, visit onlyinark.com. If you love Arkansas, you'll love our site featuring great food, festivals, adventures, and more in the natural state. Travel, food, culture, homegrown, sports, events. Visit onlyinark.com today. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, only in Arkansas. That's First Security Bank. Bank better with First Security Bank. All right, a quick recap. If you missed this earlier, Arkansas softball advanced today with the 3-0 victory over Mississippi State. Peyton Burnham went the full 7 innings, allowed just 3 hits, no runs, walked 1, struck out 2, 99 pitches on the day. A couple of hitting heroes, Tiana Bell. She went 2 for 3 with 1 RBI, but 1 home run. And also another big blow in the game by Italia Rijo. Hope I said her name correct. She went 1 for 3, but it was a big 2-run home run. And Arkansas wins 3-0, advancing to tomorrow's, what would that be, Rick? Let's see. Would that be semifinals or quarterfinals? I think that'd be quarterfinals. As they beat Mississippi State, playing Alabama. I think that's quarterfinals tomorrow. Not sure.
I think you're right. Yeah. No, I think it is.
And I'm sure we will.
And is everything in these tournaments, are they single elimination now, or do they get to a
single.
2 out of 3?
Yes, single.
How about the SEC baseball tournament? Is that
still single
now? Okay.
Especially they expanded to 16 teams.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right, so we need to catch up a little bit on our Middleton Heat and Air Buzz text line. So let's do that right now while we have a chance.
Okay.
All right. Since Roger on Morning Madness always impersonates Randy, please take a minute, Randy, to impersonate Roger. Oh, no. I can't sound like Roger. Roger is so... I can't imagine. Can't imagine doing Roger. This is...
Maybe you should do Roger doing you.
Now, that would be pretty difficult to do there. This is from our Middleton Heat and Air. Says, I'm a diehard Cubs fan today because of WGN and Harry and Steve.
Yeah. And the Cubs are playing great. You know, they've only started their current record, I think they're 12 over 500 or something like that. Only 3 times in the last 100 years have they started this well, and the last time was 2016 when they won the World Series. On the other hand, the San Francisco Giants, who were for a long time the New York Giants, although they've been in San Francisco now since 1958. They've had a franchise since the 1890s. This is the worst start in their team's history. Well over 100 years. Well, it's not just him, but I can tell you that Buster Posey, who is one of the most popular Giants ever, he's now their president of baseball operations, and when you look at some of the trades he's made, they've turned out disastrously. And he's maybe still feeling a little heat. And then, of course, when you hire a college coach, that's never happened before. If you win, you're a genius. If you lose, then you look like an idiot. And so far, the Giants they're 9 games under 500. They lost today. They're 14 and 23. And Tony Vitello has gone from being a loosey-goosey guy to trying to tighten down, which if you do that after you've been a loosey-goosey guy, it's a lot tougher. And so tough times in San Francisco.
Not tighten up by Archie Bell and the drills?
No,
tighten up, okay.
No, it's time to tighten up, but it's not working too well for Tony. So the Cubs are off to a great start. I didn't realize this till. Do you know there are only 3 teams in the American League that are over 500 going into today?
Really? I haven't looked that closely.
Yeah, the National League is resurgent, particularly the Central Division of the National League, but the National League is doing really well, except for the Giants and maybe a couple others. But the American League, you look at the Central Division, if you're at 500, you're right there in the race. Obviously with a long way to go. Same thing in the West. The Yankees are like a game or 2 ahead of the Tampa Bay Rays, but 9 ahead of everybody else.
Tampa Bay is red hot. They won't back off.
Yeah, Tampa Bay. How do they do that?
How do they? I was going to ask you that. How do they do this all the time?
For the story of you got to have money to win, you got to have money to win, you got to have money to win. Now they haven't won a World Series. They got to 1, but they win. They win every year. Like they'll have a winning season. They'll get in the playoffs. Not always, but a lot of times, and they spend less than anybody. So, and
how do they do it?
I don't know. Their management must be loaded with geniuses. Kevin Cash, their manager, obviously is very good. You got to have pitching, and they've usually got a strong bullpen and at least a couple starters who are really good. So, but there they are. They're the only teams at this point. I mean, they've played 35 games, so there's still over 100 games left, but they're the only team even in the stratosphere with the Yankees right now. I think they're a game off. They've already won today, so they're still hot. The Yankees are playing. They're just in the second inning.
Got the Rangers today again.
That's right, and you can watch it when you get home.
I will watch it when I get home.
I'm watching it right now. How about that?
Oh, on Fubo?
No, I'm watching on, I guess, on whatever the Rangers are on now. I don't know if they're on Texas Rangers TV, like the Cardinals, the Royals.
I think it's called Victory Plus.
Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's on DirecTV. We still get the Astros and the Rangers. So yes.
Never get the Astros. Or doesn't seem like it. I don't see the Astros very often on Fubo, but maybe I'm just not paying attention. But this from our Middleton Heat and Air. In Central Arkansas in the 80s, we only had 4 channels. If you got the antenna just right, we could also get Channel 38 and watch all the Cardinals games. That was back in the day for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, really. 30. Well, of course, a station would add every now and then locally, but that's what most of us grew up with was 4 stations, and no kid at that time. There might have been Sesame Street wasn't on when we were kids, I don't think. but no kid in his right mind ever watched PBS. So it was all about, it was ABC, NBC, or CBS. That was it. And that's what you got.
This from our Milton Eden there, from Hog Freaking Wild. He says, Randy and Rick, while watching the Cubs game on WGN, my buddies and I used to try and guess how many beers Harry had before singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" during the 7th inning stretch. We figured it had to be at least a 12 to 18 pack.
Wow. I think Harry could drink a lot before it got to him, though. I think he was almost immune to it. Then he'd stand up, a 1 and a 2. He always said that.
And I
first,
forget to
didn't
go from where there. Okay, this from Middleton Eden there. Okay, boys. Softball is 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern.
Okay.
Or 35 minutes after the first game.
Okay, good. And the SEC network's carrying all these games.
That is correct.
So you can watch them.
That is correct.
Yeah.
This is from our truck driving friend from the 870 by way of our Middleton Heat and Air. Louisville and Lexington, Kentucky are both Eastern time.
Oh, Louisville is?
I drove through Kentucky many times as a truck driver, and you had to know what time your pickups and drops were. Y'all are not as smart as you think, or am I as dumb as you believe?
Well, I've never claimed to be smart, so
me neither.
I'm not thinking I'm smart, and that's why we threw it out there. And I did think Louisville. So if there are places in Kentucky that are on Central Time Zone, where are they? Louisville's kind of the heart of the state. Okay, so
it's a little more like west, like Bowling Green, Kentucky, for example. I know for a fact is in Central Time Zone, but that's the only like major Kentucky town or city that I can
that's a
think
neat
of.
city too, by the way.
Yeah,
Bowling
man
Green
from Kentucky sure is lucky if he lives down in Bowling Green.
They've got the
remember that song?
They've got a Corvette factory there
in Bowling Green.
Yep, pretty neat. Oh, they used to.
Okay, so last 2 years ago when I went all the way up to the the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, I stopped first in Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is just north of Louisville. So I get it, they're Eastern Time Zone because Cincinnati's Eastern Time Zone. So, yeah, I could get, and I think Louisville's in less than an hour from Cincinnati.
So are time zones, are those all straight lines, or are there any curves in them?
I don't know. You would think they'd be straight lines, wouldn't you?
I'm halfway joking.
No, you would think they'd be straight lines.
Yeah, I would too.
I know. I've driven in Tennessee when you're driving like toward Atlanta and you're taking the interstate, and there'll be a sign, you're now entering Eastern Time Zone.
Yeah.
And I think Nashville's on Central Time Zone and Chattanooga's on Eastern Time Zone. So same state.
I've often wondered that. Is it a straight line or is there a little bit of a curve to it?
Just so our listeners will know, the fact that we don't know means that we don't think we're that smart, okay?
No, we certainly don't know it all on this program, that's for sure. All right, we will step away, come back and wrap it up in a moment. Rick Schaeffer, I'm Randy Rainwater. Drive Time Sports will continue in just one moment.
Luxury Pool & Spa in Conway and Russell is your headquarters for pool and spa chemicals. Luxury Pool & Spa is ready to get your pool balanced and swim ready with Pool Life and Baquasil Pool Chemicals. Luxury Pool & Spa is also a proud dealer of Polywood Outdoor Furniture, Climate Tough Materials, Color Stay Technology, and the 20-year warranty. If you're thinking about a hot tub, they have the amazing Caldera hot tubs in stock on their showroom floor. Live the life of luxury with Luxury Pool & Spa. LuxuryPoolArkansas.com.
Cabot Outdoors has your Get Ready to Save Big during the Hustler Spring Sales event through May 31st. Save up to $350 off the Raptor Series and up to $550 off the Fast Track Series zero-turn mowers at participating Hustler dealers. Hustler's engineered and tested for long-lasting performance designed to keep you mowing season after season. Visit CabotOutdoors.com. Shop the Hustler Spring Sales event today. Offer valid 4/15/26 through 5/31/26 or while quantities last. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
This is the Pigskin Preacher, bringing you the word. It makes me sad to read the order that Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara signed to start the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Vietnam, only to have that order canceled when JFK was assassinated and Johnson immediately reversed the action. 58,000 Americans would die, effectively for nothing. My uncle was one of them. Lives were sacrificed, families were destroyed, and for what cause? Exactly. May God bless all of our Vietnam veterans and their families. Double B supports our troops and is thankful for their patronage. All 34 Double B stores over Arkansas appreciate what our soldiers and veterans mean, both to Arkansas and also to the nation. Double B's. It's where you gas it, grab it, and go. That's Double B's.
I'm here with Laura Beth from Kaufman by Design West. Kaufman has over 7,000 square feet of beautiful new home decor pieces and design specialists on staff. See, that would be important for somebody like me who is design challenged.
Yeah, we have design specialists on staff and everything you need from lighting to flooring, designer hardware, and more.
And gift cards are available too. Check them out now. Kaufman by Design West, out west past Taylor Loop, 14900 Cantrell Road.
Or visit us online at kaufmanlumber.com.
Chevy trucks have you covered when the road takes you from smooth sailing to Chevy Colorado will eat up some of the toughest terrains with 5 available drive modes. And Silverado and Silverado HD have the muscle to take you out for some serious with multiple engine options and impressive towing. While Silverado EV is the perfect combo of performance and capability, making it a snap to hitch up this electric truck and hit the road. Wherever the road leads, Chevy trucks are right there with you. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Live from the Eat My Catfish studios, welcome back to Drive Time Sports, where Rick and Randy bring the sports and Eat My Catfish brings you the flavor. The number one sports radio show in Arkansas, Drive Time Sports on the Buzz Radio Network.
Drive Time Sports on the Buzz Radio Network. Rick Schaeffer. I'm Randy Rainwater. Double B's. Trying to sound like Pigskin Preacher. Double B's. Double B's is where you find everyday specials. Everyday specials. Doesn't matter if it's the month of May, the month of June, pick your month. They're always going to have great specials. And home to great food as well. That is the Chester's Chicken and the Big Rock Pizza. And tomorrow is my favorite day, Supreme Pizza and Cheese Pizza for just $19.99. How often can you get 2 quality pizzas for just $20? That's a deal. That is a really good deal. And if you haven't tried Chester's Chicken, shame on you, because they have great chicken. And if you're looking for a gift, I know this is the graduation time of the season. They're looking for a gift. Double B's has Exxon and Phillips 66 gift cards available. Put one of those gift cards in the hands of that graduate. Maybe a $50, $100 gift card. And if you're around Clinton or Cabot, you can always stop in and get some great ice cream. And be sure and ask your Double B's cashier about it. Sign up for one of their rewards card where you can save money on purchases at all the stores. And they also have great specials going on right now on Doritos or Lay's, potato chips, and then the drink specials. Never can you find a better deal than the 28-ounce Gatorade, 2 for $4.50, or the 1-liter Lipton tea, 2 for $3.39. Pretty neat special. $3.39. Pretty good special. And Holland 2-gallon or 2% gallon milk, just $5.99. Just some of the specials you'll find each and every day. That's right, every day at your local Double B's. 34 different locations where you gas it, grab it, and go. Make it Double B's. All right, we'll continue on with some of our Middleton Heat and Air Bus text line. This from the 870. I was born in New Orleans, lifetime Saints fan. Did everything I could to make my son into a Saints fan. Then along came John Elway, winning 2 Super Bowls in a row. Right about the time my son started getting interested in football. I've hated John ever since then.
Well,
wasn't John's fault.
That's what winning does. Again, people are attracted to winning, and that's why I suggested, and you said I didn't give you time to respond, that the reason you're a Packer fan and a Celtic fan is because they won. At the time, you were highly impressionable. That's why I am an Oriole fan. I'll just admit it. I became a Razorback fan growing up in Oklahoma because I loved the hog on the helmet, but I liked that. I became a Razorback fan during that 22-game winning streak. They won, and so it was cool to be a Razorback fan. And so, winning does attract people to being fans. I can remember occasionally going to the mall in Little Rock when Arkansas used to play down there a lot more, and you'd see kids wearing Miami hats. And you'd think, Miami hats? Are you kidding? Miami was real good at that time. They were winning all the time. So there you are in Little Rock, Arkansas, seeing kids wearing Miami hats. Winning appeals, and then if plus with whatever they're wearing looks cool, let's face it, Randy, Yankee pinstripes, if you like the Yankees, you just think that's the greatest uniform that there is.
It is a great looking uniform.
It's a great, and the hat has the NY blue hat. Yeah, so what they wear is cool. If you grew up and all of a sudden the Red Sox, who hadn't won in years, then they all of a sudden win 4 World Series, their colors with the B on the hat, those are nice looking. You could be a Red Sox fan. Green Bay had the really cool G on the helmets, and if you were in Arkansas, around the country, you may not be a Georgia fan, but the Green Bay helmet was really cool looking, and they won. So people were attracted to being fans. I think the Celtics, it was all about winning because there was nothing about their uniform, I don't think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that you'd say, wow, man, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. They just won all the time. And so people became either Celtics fans or Celtics couldn't stand them.
Well, it wasn't because of the parquet floor, but I thought that was pretty neat, though.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. Traditional look.
But that wasn't the reason.
So why did you become, because they
I actually became a huge fan because of John Havlicek. I just loved his game. And really, you could go back before Havlicek, obviously, with Russell and Cousy and all those, Casey Jones, Sam Jones, Bailey Howell. I mean, you could go on and on. They had great players. But I just liked the Celtics. I actually had a green pair of tennis shoes. I got them because of that color. They were Converse, if I remember at the time.
Now, Rick, can I ask you a quick question about my method for why I like the teams I like? Because it's a little different.
Okay, who do you like?
So
who do you like?
Well, let me tell you this first.
Okay.
My method for which team I like and why is not for watching them win. It's for if I get a chance to go to their stadium or arena and watch them in person. That's how I became a fan of the Dallas Mavericks and subsequently the Dallas Stars. They both share the same arena.
Stars?
Yeah, I love hockey. I love hockey. Hockey's awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that's I get that. And
cool.
particularly if you're a kid and either your parents or grandparents take you to the game, you remember the atmosphere, you remember the game. You might not remember the score, you might not remember much about the deal. You just know it was great to be there.
Yeah, I remember I got to watch Dirk Nowitzki while he was still playing. Before he retired, I got to go with my dad, and it was a great experience. I have not been to an NHL, MLB, or NFL game, but I've looked at one of the Rangers ballparks, their newest one, while it was getting built, walking into the Arkansas A&M game in Arlington. I've been to Jerry World. I don't know if I want to be a Cowboys fan just because of that, but that's kind of my method. And because
so you
of
like
that,
the Stars, but you haven't been to a game.
I've been dying to go to a game. I've been to their arena. I've been to their team store at said arena. So I kind of just inherited that because I loved hockey already at that time. So that was my method.
Interesting. So how about hockey on TV? You like it?
Yeah, I'll always tune into a game. The Stars are the team that I'll root for, but they got eliminated this year in the playoffs. So, I mean, I'm just watching the games for the sake of watching the games and seeing the results, yeah.
Well, I asked that because, it's low scoring, and I'm told hockey in person. I've never seen an NHL game in person. I saw minor league hockey growing up, and it was fun. Oklahoma City had the Bruins farm club, and they got a lot of good players, but that's the last time it's been since high school that I've been to a hockey game. But I'm told an NHL game is really, really terrific in person.
Mm-hmm.
But watching on TV is not my favorite thing to do. But you think the game, obviously, so you can enjoy it on TV.
And I feel the same way you do about hockey when it comes to soccer. Like, I'll probably rarely watch a FIFA match or an international soccer match, but when it comes to the Little Rock Rangers here in town, that's our local soccer club, and they're semi-pro. I'll go nuts at those games because they're a lot of fun. Yeah,
really.
I think it does make a difference watching on TV as opposed to actually being in the stands. Now, if I go to a hockey game, I already love the sport altogether and love watching the sport on TV. Who knows how crazy I'll go when I'm in the arena itself. I'll have a blast. I'll probably go as crazy as I do at Razorback football games.
You should go.
Absolutely.
As young as you are, and if your team, you like the Dallas Stars, you're 4 or 5 hours away, you should just plan a weekend to go next season.
I'm itching for it. Yeah,
Rick's going to chastise you. He's going to beat up on you until you go. I can tell you that. He beat me up until I went to Green Bay. So just beware. I'm giving you a heads up. So do you have an MLB or do you have an NFL team? Do you like the Titans because they're somewhat close, or the Saints?
Not really. My dad, growing up, he loved the Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Cowboys. So because of him, I would root for them. But I never really inherited them as a team. And like I said, I saw both of the Rangers ballparks, both while they were still playing at the old Choctaw Stadium, and now.
So are you a Ranger fan?
Kind of. I mean, I'll root for them, but I won't, watch every single game.
I'll finish up with this particular real quick from Brian in Hot Springs. By Rick's logic, all of you like them because they win. Then how does that explain all the Razorback fans?
Because when you went to your first game, because they used to win a lot, not as much anymore.
All right, we got to say so long and good night. For Rick Schaeffer, I'm Randy Rainwater, Buzz Animal Cruelty. Spay and neuter your pet. So long, everybody.
Big name guests, entertainment, and sports. It's all right here on 103.7 The Buzz.